I'm spitting flat facts and that, and I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If Earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken, we just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat Earth king of rhyme.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Ben P, Curved Fart, Pablo de la Cruz, Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, Survive the Spin, Thomas van der Zander, Measured Flat, Tiers Morgan, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, the name's Burley, J Miles 24, Unamento, Iron 26, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Troy Shuker, Bob Barker, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Cheyenne Cat, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links, as I say, to Patreon are below this video. But with that, I will hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show. There again.
I was saying, I don't know if anybody pays attention to the stock market, but Elon Musk brought his fake space public with his SpaceX company.
Yeah, I saw Ali McForever moaning that the Americans' 401ks have been put up against it, as in the money that's been paying for it is the pension money. How true that is, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know people, so no matter how fake it is, you know, that company's going to end up taking off because everybody believes in it.
Maybe. What's it produce? What's useful?
Honestly, absolutely nothing except propaganda.
That'll fail. With things like the Boring Company, or even to a certain degree the Flamethrower Company, there's an output. There's a thing that results in people being able to see a product at the end of the process. Whereas what do you actually get at the end of the SpaceX process? Rocket comes back down. You go, okay. But if by comparison it was a different, let's call it transport. And you have this item that goes out, and it's not going into the sky, it's going along the road. It goes up to a destination, let's call it 50 miles away, and then comes back and parks itself perfectly. So it's a self-driving car, and it drives to point A, comes back and parks itself. People would go, but what was the point of the journey? What did it get when it got there? Oh, absolutely nothing. It just went there and came back again. But perfectly successfully. In fact, when it got to the garage, it stood itself up on end with rocket boosters. Amazing. But what did it achieve? Did it deliver something? Did it collect something? What's the point?
I'm with you 100%. It's all propaganda. Kind of like that old story of, I think it was the Danish tulips. I don't know if you guys ever heard that story about how markets behave.
Maybe we'll get into that on the live show. See if somebody can expand on the 401k versus SpaceX shares explanation. Like I say, I got my information from a very short shorts video from a propaganda dissector that I like called Ali McForever. We'll see. I've actually got a video that I need to finish off trimming down, so I was intending to play it on today's live show. I just, every time I try and use my iPad at the moment, the battery dies in the middle of a project, which is getting more and more frustrating. So before I'd even finished my eldest's lesson at the art class today, the battery had run out, and I'm having to turn on Bluetooth to save the last 5% and things. Now it's on charge in the bedroom. It's like, I just want to get a video done so we can react to it, like from the 8-hour stint. Anyway, the sooner the book comes out, the sooner I can do an e-begging campaign for a new iPad. That's how this one came into existence, the one I've got now. Whoever supported me on the last iPad GoFundMe campaign about 6 or 7 years ago definitely got good value out of me in terms of what it produced, having been used about 15 hours or 14 hours a day every day since its purchase. All right, I'll be right back. I need to eat this hot dog.
Or maybe Bev, or I'm not sure, but we got another troll in here who's been sitting in here as East is West. How he's what Neil says goes. He's causing trouble. I want to pull him in here, make him open his mic. Just got done saying about this little troll in here.
I did, yes. Unfortunately, DD has my kind of mod powers limited to muting people. I can't really do much more than that.
You in here?
What was that?
All you can do is mute people. That's funny. So you're worthless, right?
That's not nice. Come on now.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though, right? I only do stuff in here.
Yeah, I
Right.
kind of reluctantly asked for that, and I didn't even ask for it. Honestly, he kind of imparted it on me.
Is West. He sat in here, noticed, never opened his mic. Got the wide tag.
I have a button that says timeout. You think that's of any use?
There is.
Should I time him out?
I think you might want to.
Hold on.
He come in and he goes after Viking for because he had the pickled minds tag. I questioned him about that too, but he took that off. But you know, whatever.
He's out for a week, I guess. That was like
Right.
the max. Too.
Not sure if it's Bev or Elder Bear or maybe it could be somebody else, but East is West kinda sounds like Bev or Elder Bear. What I'm talking about, right? Because with is Easter, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, and I remember that.
In the directions, yeah.
Yeah. And that username was here for quite a while in this channel.
Yeah, just sitting in the voice channel, not ever saying anything.
Yep. And then randomly, Toon has a stream of one of our pre-shows,
Yeah.
Oh, what was that? Did you say Toon stealing my material that's unpublished?
Yeah, it was a few weeks back. He had a show of one of our pre-shows. I had dropped in chat that, obviously somebody here was somehow getting him access to it. I only saw it one time, though.
Right. Another YouTuber who does perfectly satisfactorily on YouTube with the channel he was donated by another YouTuber who was terrified, ran away from me because of gas pressure, is now streaming my members-only pre-show before it's published to an audience. Wow, what a scumbag.
Yeah.
That's basically stealing. It's just stealing my material. It's there with a price tag on it. Membership's the price tag. He's got someone coming in, recording it while it's being produced, in spite of the rules making it explicitly clear that this is here to fund the feeding of my children. It's a show done for profit. For my profit. This is my job. But Toon's stealing my material as I produce it. What a thieving wanker. I'd just chop your hands off, McToon, if it were me. I'd just slice them right off. That's what I'd do, thieving bastard. Where Witsit was all polite with him, I'd stamp on his hands. If I was out in Antarctica, that's what I'd end up with. Broken jaw, broken teeth, stamped on hands for thieving from me. Like, so did you like broadcasting my material that was unpublished? Right now I'm going to stamp on your hands.
On top of that, he also gaslights, because he was sitting in that worldwide debates a few months back, completely able to talk to you, and he just sat there quietly for the whole hour and change, and now tells the whole world that you had him on mute the whole time.
Oh, that's not my show. That's not my server. What the fuck are they talking about? I was offered to be put in a room ancillary to the public section, the free open bit, whatever they want to call it. And I was like, no. I'm more than happy to not have control of this server and have 30 people pile on so I can beat the living piss out of all of them one by one. McToon was included in that. I didn't have anybody on mute. It wasn't my server. None of them are my server. This isn't my server.
I hear you.
I come in because I'm allowed to be here as a guest by the server operator. People set up servers and I go, can I come and join? Sometimes the people who operate the servers sympathise with people who've stolen from me, in which case I depart their company and come to a different server. That recently happened. But this isn't my server. Riggs' server, the one that Riggs wants to take all the credit for. So essentially, Riggs, if he was kept on mute, which sounds like complete bullshit, just a coward lie. Well, take it up with Riggs, see what he says. So McToon's alleging that you had him on mute the whole time.
Yeah, that goes back to the very first worldwide debates you're at, Nathan. Not the most recent one.
Oh, my bad. Same thing applies.
Totally. I tried correcting Toon on his own YouTube page about that, but of course I got nowhere.
Why would you want him? Why are you hanging around on his page?
Just kind of poking him. Kind of trying to set the record straight, you know?
Fair enough. I mean, when people come to me with this stuff, no offence, from this point forth, no offence to you, but you've got a bit of a sadistic streak, right? That is to say, you want to antagonise him. Poke, you say. Okay. Now, I'm not offering this as advice. I'm not saying you should do anything or not do anything. You do you, right? But me, I try and avoid interacting with these people. I put myself in places that I'm capable of being interacted with if people choose to interact with me. And frankly, I'm flattered when they do. Now, as we're talking about Toon, I'll give you a specific example. So I'll say, check it out, this guy called me, chose me, flattered, called me from Antarctica. Of all the little YouTube channels that could be contacted while you're out there doing your experiment off a flat earth, you called me. I'm flattered. Thank you for engaging with my channel. Much obliged. What did I get off the back of that generosity? Him interacting with me? When I've left an open door for that exact purpose. Well, I got a song made about it, more than more than one. It was like half a dozen different people making songs about the interaction. Wonderful, right? Couldn't be more pleased. Now that will get you praise. That is to say, it gets a mention. Even wrote about it in my book. Now that is what you get for being a participant, somebody who actually interacts. Yeah. Now, by contrast, if you're going to say, well, they had me on mute. No, we didn't. My open door's not there so I can close it in people's faces. That's ludicrous. But that's a lie that you tell people when you don't want to interact. But simultaneously, again, by contrast, you've got coming in, recording the material that's there to feed my kids and publishing it before I have to the public. That's so scummy.
You drop a link in G Plus yet?
Yeah, I thought I did. And now I sent it to my wife by mistake. Whoops. Who happened to be at the top of the list, and so it's normally must to be at the top of the G Plus list. Meet. What do they call it? I can never remember what they called Skype. Teams.
So what was happening? What, somebody leaked information?
No, Toon's publishing my pre-show while it's members only and responding to it because somebody's come into the Discord server and recorded what is my work as I'm producing it. It's like walking into a cinema and filming the screen with your phone. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
Today?
Thieves, basically. Now, like I say, I'll praise you if you come in via the public gateway, interact with me. Like, I'll be almost flattered that you're calling me up from Antarctica. Those things will get talked about. Songs will be made about them. High praise, right? Lots of interaction, lots of fruitful, jovial interaction highlights to be had from somebody calling up, opening up their mic when they've come through the open door and saying, hey, I've measured Earth flat for 24 hours. What's that? Where's the guns? You know, that's interesting. But when you just slope in, don't say anything, and record the show so you can react to it when I'm not there, what fucking cowardice. Not only is it cowardly, it's theft. So you're stealing my material as I'm producing it, basically, so that you can react to it without my presence interfering with your reaction to my pre-show. You're just stealing from me at that point.
So who is he coming in as?
I don't
That's
care.
what we got to find
I
out.
don't give a crap. Now, if it's the same as Flatsy Klein. It's like if you're receiving my stolen property, you're as guilty as the person who's stealing it. I don't care if you're buying it off some pirate on the street in your DVD copy. It's come from his phone. He sat in the cinema and recorded the film and then took it to you, and you've, handed over money for it, given for free? And now you're responding to it. That's to say, what you're doing is going and watching the new Batman movie before it being released and then doing a reaction to it before it's published. That's just straight up theft, isn't it?
That's the only word that fits.
Right. So I don't give a crap if he's acquired it via a third party. Still taking my material and responding to it. Now, not only is it theft, it's cowardice. So you've got either a spy or yourself, either you or a third party, interacting with me but not saying anything, just there to record so that you can react without having to talk to me. Yeah, we all know why, don't we? Yeah, we all know exactly why. Because you're a bunch of cowards and you're all fucking terrified of me. If it's taught me nothing, going into the worldwide debates the last couple of times taught me absolutely, without question, you're all absolutely terrified of me. Okay. Does that mean you need to steal from me? Don't be that guy.
Yeah, and that whole challenge to McLovin that Len was putting out there has already hit the freaking market because people know about it.
Who gives a fuck? Like I say, that was my point. I was going to round out to the guy I was talking to in Discord. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the server for who it was. Was it Flat Earth Cafe? You do you, but I don't want to involve myself with these wankers because they're wankers. All right, so this guy's stealing from me and producing material based off of my unpublished material that's been monetized for members. Oh, I see. Right, okay. Why would I want to interact with this thieving cunt? It's just not an enjoyable process. This is not fun for me, right? I'm here trying to make a living. Now, I get that in his religious belief, he's in opposition to me. But we're still just fellow YouTubers. I feel the same about people like Wayne. Like, why would you do that? We are doing the same job. But you want to make me difficult for me because I've done a response video with your face in it? Don't be a dick. Don't be that guy. You know, that'll get you immortalised as the cunt that you actually are being when you behave that way because you want to challenge me about up being the top of a globe, which is what it really boiled down to with someone like Wayne. Now, don't be that wanker putting my monetisation of my channel, or indeed the channel itself with copyright strikes, in jeopardy. Don't do that. Don't be a wanker. Again, don't steal material from me. Don't steal my freaking drafts. Why are these people all obsessed with thieving from me? I don't get it. Meanwhile, I'm struggling. My bleeding iPad. I'm sat here doing 2 jobs. I'm trying to publish one of the videos that I've spent all day editing with my crap old iPad that keeps running out of battery. So I'm scratching around trying to actually do the job on failing equipment, while people who have got a perfectly successful YouTube channel, that's McToon, steal my material so that they can publish it and monetize. What a complete prick. Like I say, I'd just be stamping on his hands. Thieving prick.
You lose your hands in some countries.
That's what I said, yeah. You just have your hands chopped off. Yeah? All right, you thought you'd just film with your iPhone in the cinema, and now you're going to go and react to Spider-Man when you were in a preview before the public got to see it. All right, well, let's just chop your hands off, you thieving scumbag.
Yeah, there needs to be some laws against that. I mean, they need to be enforced.
Yeah, I'd just rather highlight it. I'm not the type of person that's going to go around copyright striking people for shit that they've stolen from me. Oh my God, I'd rather just bleat and moan about it. I don't have enough time. And what am I going to do? The reason I've got about 2,500 flat earth debates and about 6,000 videos in total is because I have to pump them out at a rate to keep the frickin' lights on. So on the one hand, it's not like one little video is that important to me, but it's the contrapositive from that person's perspective. They have got a perfectly successful channel. They don't need to steal my shit, do they? But they do anyway. And why? Well, it's not because it's the monetary value. It's not because they want to thieve it. It's the cowardice. Well, you don't want to actually deal with me because you know you'll have songs made about your stupid interaction. Yeah, that's right. You're a fucking coward, Toon. I know you're not stealing because you want it to turn the money. I'm producing it for money, though. That's the ultimate piss me off way of dealing with me. Steal from me. Why? You want to be no better than thieves like Adam Meakin and John Stunyer? Is that what you want to be categorised as? Just a common thief? Okay, fine. I'll start calling you a thief then, Toon, if you're going to come and nick my material. What a scumbag.
You do know it's not the first time, right?
Oh, is he making a habit of stealing from me? I don't go to Toon and nick his material. I've got no interest in him. I'm not hanging around him, right? Now, I get that he's absolutely and completely and utterly obsessed with me to the point where he'll phone me from Antarctica. Like, weren't you having enough fun cupping ginger balls his bollocks? I mean, what the fuck? You need to call me up and tell me how you've measured Earth flat. Yeah, you do, because you thought you were actually in a strengthened position when you were alleged to be in Antarctica, measuring off a plane of reference, the angles to the sun, for a 24-hour period, like all of you did there. Other than Dumbo Dave. Couldn't quite cope with a tripod. But other than that dumb shit, you all measured Earth flat there and thought that they put you in a power play to call me up. Okay.
Well, that's not exactly true, Nathan. What happened was he called you to tell you that he is in Antarctica at the moment and he was not turned away by guns. So you said that you get turned away by gunpoint.
What, like the guys from the Chilean government turning away people prior to him going and after he went within 6 months? That kind of people with guns. Like the Chilean Navy. Yeah, they got plenty of guns. Unless you go through the rigmarole of filling out an absolute shit ton of documentation to allege to be in Antarctica. Now, I wasn't there to confirm who was actually there. I have no idea. Some people alleged they were in a tent of televisions. I couldn't give a shit. The only measurements presented were flat. As I told him, for the 100th time. I carried on counting. We got up to 110. McToon came back after the fact and I carried on. Hashtag 101. You're measuring Earth flat with elevation angles. What's that? Degrees? Coordinates? Elevation angles to the sun for 24 hours? Dipshit. You're measuring Earth flat. Now that kind of interaction, that's monetizable. You just thieving your material to publish without me being there to, annoyingly respond to you when you measure Earth flat? Yeah, it's much easier if you're a coward to just nick the material and respond without the person's knowledge. What coward? Total cuck. Well, that's it. Toon's going to get labelled a thief if this is a habit that he's apparently making of nicking my material so he doesn't actually have to interact with me. What a coward. But thieving is what he's doing to get away with his cowardice. So that's what I'll call you, Toon. No worries. Toon's a thief. He keeps stealing my material before it's published. And I'll just compare you to some chink in the back of a cinema holding up a frickin' iPhone and pirating the movie so he can put it on DVDs and sell it on a street corner. Yeah? That's what you've become. Just a pirate. Just a thief. It only rubs me up the wrong way because I'm poor. Like, this wouldn't touch a nerve if I was making a decent money out of YouTubing. But I don't. I have to constantly e-beg daily and have done for about 10 straight years. So it does rub me up the wrong way. I've got to be honest. Anyway, my phone's got 30%, or iPad I should say. So I'll upload this video.
Sorry, I've just joined.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just joined halfway through that. What is it? McLovin stolen from you, bud?
Apparently he's getting copies of my pre-show and responding to them in his streams or videos. I have no idea. I don't watch him. But he's nicking my material. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting he's doing it for monetization gain. It's not like he's doing it for any different profit than he would respond to anything else that he's responding to, which is fair game. When it's my pre-show and it's not published, you're like, okay. So rather than interacting with me, you've come in, or by way of third party, acquired my material that I monetize. It's done to feed my kids. But he's just coming along, oh, well, I'll just respond to him without him being able to hear me, because I'll record his pre-show and then respond to that. Okay, well, you're just a thief. That's it. You just get called that now. Don't like being called a thief. Don't.
Quite curious.
Again.
Quite curious to find out how he's got your pre-show when it's not even being published.
Well, who cares? I mean, like I say, I don't care if somebody's coming to the Discord server while it's being produced. That's the equivalent of somebody who goes to a recording of a soap opera to be the live audience watching, and they film it from their stalls while they're watching the show be produced. That's what Discord essentially is for me. It's my public gateway. Yes, you can interact with the show. You can heckle from the audience. Sometimes we'll bring you up to discuss specific issues with you. Now, don't get me wrong. The audience can then decide that they're all going to cause audio chaos all at once. That's what the audience can do in the studio. They can all holler and scream, like in Jeremy Kyle. But quite often, the mic's shoved in front of you, and you've then got to make your case. What I don't expect is the audience to pull out a camera phone, videotape the production of my show, take it to a different platform, and then respond to it of their own volition before I've even had the chance to publish it. That just makes you a thief. In this case, McToon, the thief. Anyway, video uploading, so we'll respond to a sanitized version of the debate in the 8-hour format, but without much swearing, because like I say, I've spent the entire art class and before and after editing this video, which I've literally just finished. So yeah, I'll play that out. 8 minutes of processing time. Fine. Well, I can't really babysit it and do anything now. I just have to wait. Cool. At least it's uploaded. So if you're a member of Nathan Oakley 1980 channel and you do want to watch the video that we're about to respond to in case we do only get through 5 minutes of it or something, it's in the members only section called Telnav. Ideally, you don't steal it and then respond to it like when I'm not around, you know, like McToon seems to like doing, just stealing it. Don't do that. Anyway, it's called Telnav. It'll be uploaded in about 8 minutes, but by the time this goes out to my audience, it'll already be processed as a members only video. Should I just let it play? It's about 20 minutes long and then respond to it, or should I pause it at points that are relevant when you guys want to chirp up?
It's up to you.
Okay, well, I'll play it through and I'll leave the lines open so that if somebody wants to interrupt or interject, they can. Same goes for you, Discord. If you hear something in the video that you want to respond to, feel free. I'll leave the mics open, lines open, so you can actually interact or tell me to just say pause, please, and then I'll pause the video so you can respond to it.
Not hearing anything.
That's because I'm setting up and everyone's gone quiet. I can't talk consistently and do things. So I'm sorry, I'm just not that good at multitasking.
Well, while you're doing that, Nathan, when you're doing the Uncut and After Show, right? I don't know if you can talk while you're doing this. Are there people that are seeing it live that pay a little more money as a certain type of member, and they can watch the Uncut and After Show live?
No, the Uncut and After Show is after the show. That's what it is. After the show finishes, that's the live show, then I continue to record. I don't continue live streaming to a different audience.
So here's another person that has misinformation. It said members of the channel are allowed to watch the show within a few hours afterwards.
Yeah, that's correct.
Higher paid members get to watch the after show as it is being recorded.
No, that's not true.
As a premiere just for them.
No, that's not true.
Okay, I figured that was not true.
No, once it's recorded, it just gets published to members, but that means the show is completely concluded, having had no audience. The only people who are involved are the people who are on the stage. So it's like, we're going to do Jeremy Kyle live. You usher everybody in, and while they're being ushered in, you're filming the audience come in, sit down, take the seats. Then you film the compare that comes out to get the audience warmed up. Then you go live at 1 o'clock, and everybody's watching on their television sets an hour of Jeremy Kyle live with a live audience. Now, once the live audience stream finishes, they carry on recording the audience disbanding, disbarking, whatever you want to call it, exiting the building. And then once everybody's gone, which is pretty much as soon as the live show is finished, for YouTube it takes 60 to 120 seconds. Once that's done, all that's left is the principal actors and the crew. That's it. Crew being Discord, if you want to look at it in that way. No, there's no paying more to watch it be produced live.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. Spent all morning editing a video, and we've got it ready to go. So in previous shows, we've covered the Worldwide Debates Extravaganza that was about 8 hour long, members only video currently. Or what I've actually done is trimmed a small section, by small I mean 20 minutes, from that video, and it's sanitized it, basically removed as much swearing. Hopefully none have slipped through the cracks, so it can go out in a fairly sanitized way. There are going to be a few insults that still slip through that people might find a little bit blue, but it's definitely a PG rating. So, strong worded language, but just not obscene in terms of the profanity that's being used. So that's what I've spent all morning editing, and we're going to cover that, unless there's anything that you guys want to specifically cover before we do actually get into that. Hello?
What's the update with the book?
I want to try that again in English.
I said, what's the update with the book?
The last thing that I could give you as an update was on Friday. Let me just clear my throat. So on Friday, my publisher got back in touch and said these 12 images aren't high enough DPI, so that the ebook matches the eventual paper/hardback release. They need to be at a certain standard, so we don't have to do them twice, basically. So I've supplied him with a complete book in Word format, A5 sized, with the pictures scaled to whatever that scales to in A5. That's a paper size here in the UK. I can't remember what the term, something legal, is the document size in the States. But in either event, the eventual release needs to match the ebook in terms of things like the DPI for pictures. So he sent me 12 specific pictures back saying these need to be upscaled. So I downloaded some software called Firefly Adobe, I think it was called, and just upscaled them. And I've sent them all to him, about 5 per email, and then there was one random one with a couple on. But I haven't heard anything back from him since. So I did send him an email yesterday saying, have you actually received these? But either he's not around, or he's doing other things, or he hasn't happened to look at his email yet. So I don't know if they come through in a satisfactory standard. But I've also explained to him that, as was the case with the ebook cover, I was back and forth about 10 times trying to get the stupid thing into the right resolution and DPI, and I just could not do it no matter what I tried. AI lies when you ask it, can you upscale this to this resolution and DPI? Yes, I can. Here's something at a lower resolution. Is this definitely the right resolution? Yes, it is. No, it isn't. So it goes on. But nevertheless, I've said to my publisher, look, should these 12 that I've sent to you, having upscaled them with Firefly Adobe, not be in the right DPI, let me know. And Craig, click OK, has offered to step in and hopefully just get that resolved. So I don't know. I'm hoping that they'll all just be okay, and that's the last thing in the process. And then it's back to that step which I've already experienced once, where he sends me basically a completed book. And I've already had that be the case once, but I made edits, which has delayed things. But like I say, I don't mind incorporating a specific rhetoric change in terms of the wrong direction fallacy used by Wayne of the Map Reading Company to incorporate him as a character to describe that convolution requirement when you're talking about a vertically orientated pole versus the azimuthal usefulness of directionality on a compass. So that's been incorporated into what I'd received previously as the completed book. So I'd expect, having gone through it once previous, that I'll get that process start again. So he'll send it me and go through this one and make sure you're happy with it. And I'll download that on Kindle and Apple Books, check that it looks okay. And then that should be it. But I couldn't give you a time on it. I estimate a couple of weeks.
There goes that 2 weeks again. This book is starting to sound like the Money Pit.
Yeah, 2 weeks and 10 days is those are hunting numbers.
Okay, so the video that we're about to play out, which I'll bring up now, is available if you are a member of Nathan Oakley 1980. So, if we only get a few minutes into this and we end up responding to it a lot, then you can watch it as a clipped out video, as I say, under the title CELNAV, CELNAV. So that's, like I say, what you can acquire. Also, if you just want to watch it without us responding to it, so then it becomes the actual 20-minute presentation. Eventually I'll release it to the public, but for now I've only just finished editing it today. So this is currently available for members only. So you can check it out without us responding to it. If we do, we might just play it through now in its entirety for 20 minutes. We'll see how we get on. But this is taken from Worldwide Debates number 5 or 6. I can't remember the number. But the most recent very long form video on members only again, which is about 8 hours, 1 minute, something like that. But that's where it's taken from, this edited video. So it's been sanitized, so it can be responded to, listened to in a live stream without me worrying too much about the swearing. Hey, Eli. Okay, then. I just need to share this.
I would like to know how far the stars are away. I'm sure a lot of your viewers would.
That's why you get strangled and thrown over the side of the lifeboat. Because while you're pondering how high they are, other people are trying to find out their position so they don't die, so they can find their way home on a map. While you ponder how high they are, other people will be fixing to murder you, so you don't put in jeopardy the people who find out where they are on the ground. Not how high the star is, so you can wonder about it and sniff your own farts.
So let's just go a little bit off topic.
You son of an idiot.
So can you answer it, Joe Pesci, or no? Or should we get Arwin on? You said you could do the calculation. Why wouldn't you if you're in a safe space now?
I don't need to do any measuring of angles from surface level to stars for navigation purposes. I'm not in a boat. I'm a YouTuber.
No, it's not for navigation. We're away from navigation. Now we want to know more about our terrain and our sky. So we want to know how far away the sun or the stars are. You said you could do it. Why wouldn't you do it to know more? You're a truther after all.
No, that's not what I said. What I said was, in the convention we use for navigation, it's described with respect to the celestial sphere at an infinite distance. That's what I said.
Well, it can't be an infinite distance if you have a right angle triangle with a known distance on the bottom. So you're adjacent, you know the angle. So surely you would know how to calculate the opposite angle using simple trig, right?
Rinse and repeat this exact same shite that I've already dealt with 4 times. I see.
Oh, no, you said that. It's
You stuttering. Nobody's navigating to the stars.
I'm not talking about navigation.
Yeah, you are. You're describing measuring to them.
Anybody know who this guy's name is? I put these people in the title of the live show, that is.
Yeah, he's a McToon army member. He calls himself the number 16 rank Glober. His name is Wesley G.
The number 16? What? The number 16?
Yeah, they have a ranking system within their own little army. So this is the number 16 rank Glober.
He's a retard.
He says he's a number 16 rank Glober,
trigonometry.
dude. You can't make this up. He says he's number 16 ranked.
Wow. So these dweebs, oh my god. Man, get yourself into a literal pecking order. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but his name is Wesley G. That's his name.
What?
Wesley, Wesley, space G, capital G.
Wesley G. Right, let's add this guy to the name of the title of this show. Wesley G. We've also got Omnivore. I think I've spelled that correctly. Omnivor. Is that right?
E at the end.
ER instead of OR.
No, E at the end of Omnivore.
Oh, RE, I see. We've also, in this particular stream, got who's that? Robnoxious. OXIOUS. Right. ROBNOXIOUS. Robnoxious. I don't know how these people spell their troll names. Anyway, that'll do for now. If anybody else gets noted to speak, please pipe up and tell me what they're called, and I'll add them to the title.
I need to put a little clickbait ending to it, though. So far we've got Wesley, G, Omnivore, Robnoxious. Get smashed. You were there, Neil. What should I get destroyed? Yes, Nathan, destroyed is perfectly clickbaity.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Get destroyed. Okay, that'll do. Hopefully I've not spelled any of it wrong. My little beady eyes. I had a terrible nightmare last night, Neil. Woke up at about 5 in the morning because in my nightmare I was in jail. It was horrible. And they'd put me in what do they call it when there's like multiple bunks all in one area?
Oh, that's general population. That sucks.
In general population, yeah, and it was rough. In my nightmare, it was horrible. But somebody did give me a shank and some chain to wrap around my knuckles, so I did all right.
Oh boy, you got to sleep with 2 eyes open.
Who was it?
Sorry, say that again.
You remember who shanked? Do you remember who shanked you, or was it?
I was the one doing the shanking. Let's get it clear. There's always going to be a top dog. Anyway, enough about my nightmares. I'm not going back, man. Never again. No, I'm only joking. I've never been in jail. In the process describing navigation, celestial navigation. When you measure the angle to the star, the purpose of measuring that angle is for navigation.
Okay. Okay,
so we're not measuring for flight to the star, you who rinsed and repeated this 4 times. You stupid spastic. We're measuring for ground positions. You're not going to suggest that, well, if we do it devoid of navigation, yeah, we wouldn't be doing it then, because it has no practical use.
You don't want to know about where we live?
I already know that the convention used when we navigate is celestial navigation, and it has the celestial sphere ascribed a, quote, infinite distance. Not by me. It's the convention used to find your way when you measure angles. 2 stars,
why'd you use
4
triangle?
ground positions.
Then it'd be silly to call it a triangle then, right, Nathan?
That's what it is. I've had plenty of diagrammatical examples of triangles with a line along the surface to the GP, 90 degrees to the point above the star's position and your line to it. That's a triangle.
So now you have a position to the star from...
No, 5 times. Are you deaf? Idiot.
Go ahead.
I'm calling you because I've told you 5 times. Nobody's trying to measure the distance to the star. We're trying to find our position on the ground.
I know, but...
So shut up about the height, you stupid clown!
No,
such a scary topic.
All right, let's just lay this out for brass tacks, right? This process has saved lives. What this clown wants to do serves nobody. It has no practical application. You just want to know. Yeah, like I say, that's why I'd strangle you if we were on a lifeboat while you decide to fuck around. Well, you'd find out how quickly you go over the side. That's what you'd find out. Well, I just want to know how high the star is. Really? I want to find out where we are on the ocean so we don't die here.
Let's get out of your fantasy now. What is
our fantasy? It's Salnav. Fucking stupid. It's not Nathan Oakley's fantasy. It's called celestial navigation.
Oh, so you have to be in an emergency to do Salnav?
What, to find where you are when you're lost? Yes.
Give me some coordinates.
Coordinates. Those would be flat Earth elevation angle measurements of stars. Also, that's what coordinates are.
Can you do Salnav if your life isn't in direct danger?
But what would you need to do it if you know where you are?
Yeah, what a retard.
Yeah, sorry, let's just address that, spastic. Can we do celestial navigation if we already know where we are? What would be the point of that, you daft twat?
Okay, so we're not using it to prove the shape of the Earth. No, we're not using it to...
Okay, so for the audience's benefit who are watching this live, what's all this about? Why is this happening? Okay, let's break it down. Celestial navigation is fundamentally reliant on Earth being measured flat. What you're trying to derive with this measurement of an angle to a star, the angle itself being a flat Earth measurement, a bit like when you measure angles to the sun or moon or any other celestial item, right? You're measuring with respect to surface level. That's why it's called an elevation angle. Now, with that information, you can plot a position below the star. That distance is the radial value. You get it by taking the angle, minusing that angle from the 90-degree position to you, and timesing the result by 60, the convention that gives you the nautical mile distance to the point below the star. That's called its ground position. Because it's 90 degrees to your position, it's part of the calculation, and because you're timesing it by a linear distance in miles, that's 60, the end part of the calculation, the output result gives you this, a radial value. So you can draw a circle of equal elevation, otherwise known as an area or circle of equal altitude. Now, the area of equal altitude that you're deriving can be ignored in its entirety if you just draw what's called a line of position. That's to say, if you've already roughly figured out where you are on the ocean, you can just draw a little line instead of the full circle. That's all that means, right? But you still need to calculate with respect to the linear distance horizontal on a map, how big the whatever you call it, compass, protractor, the thing you'd put your pencil in, I think it is called a protractor, no, compass, and draw your line of position once you've got the needle to the right distance based on the scale of the map. So once you've drawn a little mark with this flat Earth measurement of an angle, you can figure out roughly where you are, and more accurately if you then take an angle to a different star. Again, same process, 90 degrees to your position, minus the angle from 90, times it by 60, giving you a radial value so you can draw a second line of position. Now, there's a chance that the intersect points between the two circles of equal elevation might be such that you still can't figure out your exact location until you do it with a third star. But there's a good chance that at that point, with just 2 stars, you can figure out where you are. Now, if one of the intersect points is over land, you definitely know where you are because you're in a boat. But nevertheless, you figured out with this process of flat Earth measurements that are minus from 90, as in they're using a 90-degree triangle, times by 60, as in the distance in nautical miles to the GP below the star, the circle, that's two-dimensional flat Earth prerequisite, of equal elevation is useful for finding your position. Right, so that's the process. It's called celestial navigation. Okay, now with that bare bones rendition of what celestial navigation is, why would I, a YouTuber, be asked about, well, what's the height of the star? It's called a red herring, sometimes referred to by others as a straw man, depends on how you want to base the inferior logical fallacy. Either way, red herring or straw man, they're taking what seems to be relevant to the discussion. What is the discussion? Well, there isn't one. We're just measuring Earth flat for angles. It's just that simple. We're drawing out circles that are two-dimensional, that are flat, with flat distances that are radial. That's it. So there is no discussion. But so that it can seem like there's been a discussion, they can phrase this like this is my claim. Like it's Nathan Oakley's celestial navigation. And then I'm asked in this process where we're deriving this bit, radial value, to draw a circle of equal elevation with respect to a ground position so we can find out where the hell we are. They say, well, how high is the star? Because then we're distracting from flat Earth ground positions. So they can say, well, if you can't calculate the height of the star, all bets are off. Now, what I'm highlighting in the middle of this debate is this process, CelNav, not Nathan Oakley's radial derivation, but CelNav, celestial navigation, saves lives at sea. Finding the altitude, that does have a purpose. It's a straw man to be burnt by this clown that doesn't have any response to Earth being measured flat for this process. And indeed for the derivative values of all Earth measurements in miles. That's how we measure Earth. That's how we've derived the systems to begin with. Earth's been measured flat since the year dot. We always will be measuring Earth flat. That's how it's done. So, do I have a height? Who cares? It's there so that they can make it seem like I've got a failure in my logic. It isn't logic. It's an argument. It's not an argument. It's not logic. It's a measurement of a flat plane for an angle to give you a circle that's flat with a distance that's linear. That's what it is. So burning a straw man's not going to change how flat Earth gets measured. Just so we're clear, why am I having this conversation put to me? Why am I being asked if I can calculate a height with this process that in no way, shape or form is designed to derive the height of a light that you're using for its positional information above the land at a certain time? 50 watching. Please share the show if you haven't done so already. Massive thank you to all of you who've just joined us. It'd be great if you could give us some financial support. There's a link to PayPal and indeed to, what's the one I've got, Ko-Fi, below this video. So if you do have the financial means to actually support me by those means, please do so. Don't stand on ceremony. If indeed you don't have the financial means to support me, which I can totally understand, please share one of my shorts videos. There's plenty of publicly available videos that are short and, like this video, sterilised to the point where you could actually share them with a friend if you want to demonstrate how Earth is measured flat by everyone in all circumstances, including but not limited to ball believers.
You're the shape of the Earth, then. You agree with that, right, Nathan? We're not.
No, we're utilising a prerequisite flat Earth elevation angle measurement so we don't die at sea.
Confirming the consequent.
No, we're measuring an angle.
Wait.
Well, it's not affirming the consequence, measuring an angle.
You know how to calculate the...
No, we're measuring. Listen to the words coming out. We're not calculating. We're deriving radial values by calculation. The measurement of the angle is off a flat Earth, though. That's not a calculation. That's a flat Earth prerequisite measurement. You said affirming the consequent. Incorrect. It's a measurement of degrees from surface level.
By your own definition, you said multiply.
Yeah, after you measure a flat Earth with a degree.
How do you measure things? With calculations?
Right, no, on screen now, celestial plane inside the equatorial plane with an angle describing the latitude system with a flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurement to the star Polaris, taken directly from a celestial navigation manual. Here is the diagrammatical example of the altitude angle, otherwise known as elevation angle, being measured for the Polaris-based system, measured off a flat Earth. Response from in Discord: no. Yeah, you stupid. Who wants this angle to give you height?
Don't swear on my show.
You suggest that this flat Earth angle will give you height. So it's okay for you to use a flat Earth prerequisite surface level when you suggest that the useless acquisition of a height is something we should be looking at. But when we use it to actually navigate the surface with a flat Earth angle, suddenly it's an affirming the consequent fallacy. No,
So
dimwit.
navigate.
No, you can't but help interrupt me. Yes, we are measuring surface level angles. You saying no won't change what they are.
Shit, if we can reply, we can destroy this so easily.
Don't need Robnoxious. He's making the sound inaudible.
What's the third point of that triangle? What's the third point of that triangle?
The first point is you. You are measuring the angle. You are point 1. Point 2 is the star or sun or moon or any item that you are measuring for its degree in elevation terminology from surface level.
Yep.
The third point is the zenith position or ground position of the star, 90 degrees to your position. So although it's being whizzed by, the guy's conceding. Yep. Yeah, we're measuring a surface level angle. Yeah, Earth's being measured flat and he's acknowledging it. Now, I want to get to the end of the point to make this a concise video, or in this case, a concise explanation to the people in the Discord server. So point 1, 90 degrees below. Yeah, go ahead, Neil.
I was just going to say, but why do they always try to force you into doing trigonometry when you're doing celestial navigation?
I just explained that like 25 seconds ago. So they can burn the straw man and make it seem like, well, this process fails to give us a height.
See?
And therefore, if it's my claim of a flat Earth, it's not a claim of a flat Earth, it's CellNav. This isn't claiming a flat Earth is proved by it. It measures a flat Earth with an angle. They've got it the wrong way around. They seem to think that by taking it from what it is, a flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurement from surface level, that's what elevation means, turning it into Nathan's claim that's supposed to be proving flat Earth, when in fact they can't even get the height of the star. That's what they want to twist it into. Below the star to your position, point 2, and point 3 is the star itself. On screen now.
How high is the star?
On screen for my audience's benefit who need. Now he's asking me how high is the star. And like I said in the preamble, which is just trimmed out from later on in the video, if he was on the boat with me, I'd strangle him and throw him over the side while we had this argument. I'm like, no, we're going to be figuring out where we are while you demand that we calculate for height. So you're going overboard. You can drown. That's what you can do.
Well, that's why he said we're not talking about CellNav. We just want to know about the skies and our terrain. Really?
Yeah, well, when that happens, I'm just going to do what I did with the guy yesterday when he's like, I work for Amazon launching satellites. I'm like, do you boring twat? You sound like you've got a really dull existence. In this case, what do you do with your spare time, you fart-sniffing dweeb? Are you number 18 in McToon's little pecking order? What's that? You calculate for the heights of stars in your spare time, do you? You boring fart-sniffing dweeb. Need educating beyond the dumb to chant through me. Here is latitude being measured with a triangle, 90 degrees below the star, you at the vertex of the measured angle, a line along the surface, and a line up to the star with a drop to the surface 90 degrees to your position, 90 being formed with the line up to the star and along the base to your position. That is the diagrammatical example I have on my screen, just in case any of my audience thinks that the hand wave dismissal coming from a wanker when he says no means that this diagrammatical example taken from a celestial navigation manual is incorrect. When he says no, that's like him saying, no, you and your claim I won't accept. When I'm not giving a claim, I'm simply detailing what celestial navigation is, as opposed to making it my claim that somebody can say no to. And like, number one, I don't give a crap if you accept this. Celestial navigation is what it is. It's not my celestial navigation for you to disagree with the aforementioned no response. Here's what it is. It's a flat earth measurement. You don't have to like it. Go on, Gekushi, or however you say it.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's actually ranked 16. He calls himself, not 18.
Oh my god, I can't believe these cucks put themselves in a pecking order of their own volition. That's sad. It isn't. It's a triangle.
Okay, and now how high is the opposite?
Okay, so you're going to rinse and repeat how high for the 7th time?
Yes.
Nobody's going to the star. We're trying to find our position on the ground with the labelled ground positions.
What's the height?
We're not trying to find out how high the star is. We're finding our position. Oh, here's this boring dweeb. He's going to concentrate on finding out how high the star is. It doesn't matter that I tell him. If this was really a life and death situation, you'd be the one dying. You know what I mean? He's still going to say, no, I'm going to press on. I definitely need you to be asked how high the star is. I really need you to tell me. Really? Why? What's it useful for? Knowledge. We're going to be knowledgeable. Nom, 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 nom. You boring, fart-sniffing dweebs. You've got nothing better to do. You know exactly where you are, but you're going to start measuring star angles? What a bunch of boring fart-sniffers. On the ground. That's why you'd be strangled and thrown over the side. Because this argument is putting everybody on the lifeboat's life in jeopardy while you argue about how important it is to find out the height of the star. No one gives a flying...
Yes, he is. Gatebreaker. He's not
Yeah, he
answering the
is,
question.
Lori. He can't answer the question.
You like the high pitch? No, it's not boring and dweeby. We need the height for knowledge.
I mean, he was asked a specific question, like, how high is it? Like he gives you the answer, like 40 feet. What are you going to do with it? What's next?
40 feet would be an elevation from sea level. If you're going to ascribe it a value in feet from surface level, that's sea level, as an accurate angle measurement depiction to derive degrees to give you an altitude, then the overall output is an elevation from the sea level. Ergo, it's perpendicular to sea level and a flat earth prerequisite altitude measurement. Linear in the vertical.
Linear.
Show us how you use a Texan.
He
Go
could
live
show
and
us.
use one, Nathan.
Let's get deeper, though. Let's get deeper. We could just... Let's get...
Although I didn't say it in the moment, to be deeper, you'd need to measure depth with respect to sea level also. Let's just stutter around an obnoxious ignorance of what's just been stated. We measure Earth flat with elevation angles.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do. They measured along the surface to a 90-degree point to your position below the star. It's called a ground position. The vertex is you. The star forms the angle. The ground position is 90 degrees to your position. The surface level must be flat for it to be an angle. We absolutely unequivocally measure Earth flat with elevation angles. And won't change how flat Earth must be measured with elevation angles. Elevation describes the angle from the surface.
Wait, Rob.
Right, while the rumpusing's going on, does anybody in the Discord server or indeed in my G Plus panel not understand what's been gone through in terms of the explanation in this debate about celestial navigation and how it functions? That's to say, measuring angles with respect to a plane, and as detailed a moment ago, minusing that measured angle from 90, timesing the output by 60 to give you a radial value to a GP point, below the 90-degree point of the star that you're measuring. If this, my watch, is the measurement point, that's to say the angle's coming from me to a star. If the top of my fingers is the star, the 90 is the baseline to the star that will form the straight, flat, linear distance in miles that is the output value you're trying to acquire, so that you can then, with the information of where the star is above at the given time that you mark your measurement, you can draw a circle, and you are, like my watch in this instance, sat somewhere on that circle. That's the purpose of doing it. Now, if you do it with more than one star, to the star over here, you're going to have intersect points. 2 of them if you've got 2 stars, 1 of them if you've got 3 stars. Then you know your exact position on a flat Earth. So, given that I've now reiterated it and said it earlier, does anybody not understand how this process is measuring Earth flat? I'm glad you're all so interactive. Bloody hellfire.
Well, what do you want us to say? We don't understand? We understand these things.
I said, does anybody not understand? There was a double negative in there. Pay attention.
I understand. So we all do. So what do you want us to just say? No, we all got it. Continue playing the video.
Yeah, we got it, is what I was hoping. If anybody was like piping up going, I actually don't follow, how is that a flat Earth measurement? Like, well, the angles with respect to 90 degrees, that's the first input value. The measurement of the degree from surface level. It's an altitude angle. Or if someone says, well, where's the radius value relevant? You'd say, well, the output after the calculation when you minus from 90, the position that you've measured in an angle, and then times that by 60 to give you the distance in nautical miles, the output radial value is flat and linear. It can only be flat and linear. That's how it functions. But nobody piped up, so...
Rob has all these questions. Wait, Rob's got all these questions. Rob, do you have a better flat Earth model than the one that Nathan Oakley is?
It's not a model. Totally misrepresenting me. I didn't present any model. Have you got a better model than the one that Nathan... No, don't lie about me. Again, total scum. That really pissed me off when I was editing it earlier. It's like, why are you now saying that I've laid down a model? I haven't. The words haven't crossed my lips. At no point have I presented anything. I've not given them anything. Yeah, later on in this video, I'm asked to give them something. Can you send me the picture that you're talking to your audience about? And I said, no, you can suck my balls, though. You going to suck my balls? No, I'm not giving you anything. I hate all of you. You're all scum. Yeah, the kind of people who send social services in the police round and report my videos, send me copyright strikes. That sort of person. Yeah, scum. The kind of people who thieve from me. Yeah? People I wouldn't want to associate with. Yeah? But they want me to give them things, get lost. Model, it's celestial navigation.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a flat Earth model. So anybody
all maps are. Now we're burning the straw man. So lie about Nathan presenting a model, and then say there's no such thing as the model that I didn't present and hadn't claimed. So burn it immediately. Scummy tactics. Flat. All charts are flat. They must work with lines of position. That's areas of equal elevation, otherwise known as circles of equal altitude. That's why all maps are flat, and all elevation angle measurements are with respect to the flat surface. Yeah. Navigation is flat, so are the maps. So are the distances that we'll be measuring, by the way. When you minus from 90 and times by 60, the distance to the GP is flat and linear.
Well, then how do you measure when you're in there?
Why are you asking me something? You thought south was at the bottom of something. That's how we're not getting any acknowledgement either, right? So it's been put to them that this process that I'm being asked about, how we get height from this process that's not mine. I'm a YouTuber. I'm not out navigating on boats using celestial navigation. Nevertheless, here we are with me being challenged about how I get a freaking height from a process that doesn't have a height output value. Because they're idiots. Misrepresenting me and suggesting that I've got a model that I haven't presented that's immediately been burnt as not being existent or not capable of being created flat. I then point out in response, maps are all flat. That's what we're going to be drawing the lines of position and circles of equal altitude on. The charts, the maps, they're all flat. Response, ask me a new question. Now, this is the cowardice that I have to deal with and I've dealt with for 10 years. Yeah? Cowards who are terrified of the words that come out of my mouth. Because they're not being acknowledged. There's not a single person going, right, I see. So to derive this value for positional information Earth can only be flat. The very point of you being here. Yeah, that's right. It is. But none of them are acknowledging it. It's on to the new question, like little girls. La, 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 la. I can't hear you talking about your flat maps and your flat radial values and your flat angles. La, la, la. How'd you get the height? That's what's going on. I mean, you have no place in this discussion, Rob.
Yeah. But you won't say how you met.
You thought azimuth was comparable to altitude when you described south as being the bottom. So shut your dumb mouth. No one gives a tiniest of shits what you've got to ask about. Shut up.
Spastic. You're a spastic.
No, you're a spastic when you ascribed south to an azimuth. You said it was the bottom.
Look.
Go get a jacket.
No stuttery. I won't be looking at anything.
You know, you have to appreciate that he's actually performing to his audience.
Conflict
as long as he
is
keeps
coming.
Speaking, your voice doesn't come through on his YouTube stream.
There goes Edibear.
Sorry, say again, Neil.
There goes Edibear piping up.
I mean, Edibear or White Knight, when somebody's being annihilated, like they can hear that the straw man's being built up in response to me pointing out how flat Earth's being measured. So he needs to offer another level of subterfuge on top of the already existent bullshit, distracting from the conclusion that's just been made that absolutely none of these cowards have acknowledged. But they're all piping up. I mean, Edibear's waffling on about how I've got a show when I'm not producing a show. I wasn't live at the time. So again, just lying about me. Completely misrepresented. This is the first time this is heard. I mean, unless you're hearing it on McToon's channel, because he's stolen it. I mean, McToon being a thief that steals material to publish it on his own channel, so he, the coward, doesn't have to face me either. But that's a different misrepresentation and theft. In this instance, we've got Edibear talking about how my audience can't hear things. I don't have an audience. There is no audience at the point that this is being recorded. Edibear's just lying about what's happening, because that's what Edibear does. He lies. Like most of them. They're not acknowledging the flat Earth prerequisites. They're not acknowledging the flat Earth angle measurements. They're not acknowledging the flat Earth radial values that we've talked about excessively, right? We've talked extensively about how circles of equal elevation are derived, minus from 90 times by 60 the angle that you measure, off a flat Earth with a right angled triangle. That's been discussed, but the only conclusion is, well, where's the height? Not, well, we've got these processes saving lives. That's how it's done. And even with me saying, look, with this flat Earth process saving lives, if you were to interfere with this process that would save our life if we're out on a lifeboat because our boat's sunk, then I would strangle you and throw you over the side. Justifiably so, because you want to fuck around trying to figure out a height of a star that we're not travelling to. No, we're not trying to find our way to the star, you drunk idiot. But you will go over the side if you persist in delaying the people who know how to navigate Earth's surface with ground positions and areas of equal elevation, circles of equal altitude, flat linear mile measurements of Earth's flat linear surface in nautical miles. That's what we're doing. Now, are they acknowledging it? No. Where's the height? Nathan's not letting his audience hear us. Well, we heard you perfectly well, actually, there, Edibear, you dumb shit. Meanwhile, I'm recording and not broadcasting. Complete misrepresentation. There was no audience.
Well, it's Nathan's show, so if he's speaking, we ought to.
Again, another misrepresentation. No show is happening while this is being recorded. I've joined the public bit of this Discord server, completely unannounced, without any show taking place, after the show has been concluded. So I've concluded the after show, I've concluded the live show. I'm in the kitchen doing the dishwasher, and I come into the guys who have gone a bit quiet and go, you guys don't seem to be having much conversation. Do you want me to join a Discord server so you've got something to listen to? And they go, yeah, right. I go, okay, I'll stick you in there then. So I'll go and find a random Discord server with people in. Happens to be Worldwide Debates. I did actually try and go in a couple of other servers prior to that one, but that was the one we ended up in. So I'm not there doing a show, but they're saying, well, Nathan's running a show. No, I'm not. I'm there just for fun, just for kicks and giggles. Yeah, I'm being misrepresented. Nathan's got a show. Now I've got a show. This is the first time this is being aired to an audience. Like I say, I just literally finished editing it. You can probably see on this timer, let's just bring up the picture of it. It says 49 minutes ago, because that's when I finished editing it. But what's happening? I'm being represented as though I've got a show going out and I'm stopping people from hearing them in the show. I'm only talking to them. What they're doing is rumpusing the living shit out of me so they can't hear me. And then going, oh, well, you're muting us. The audience can't hear. Like, you are the audience, dipshit.
To let him speak, because we're all here for him.
Would you stop saying it's his show? This is
That's
Rick's
the
show.
truth, bro. Just get over it. Hey, but look.
Yeah, Robnoxious doesn't like that fact. He wants to fantasize about having 13 million views on TikTok. Just break that down. So, Robnoxious lied, right? So, in a previous occasion where a similar circumstance happens, where someone's saying, oh, well, you're running a show. And I'm like, oh, who's this guy? He's a nobody. I'm like, well, okay, actually, I do have 10 million views. It's actually more than that. It's more like 12 million views, but whatever, right? And as soon as I said it, Robnoxious pipes up and goes, I've got 13 million views on TikTok. I'm like, have you? What's your channel name? You wouldn't want to look at my channel. I'm like, yeah, I do. I want to see if you're a liar or not. No, I'm definitely just not going to give it you. You're not going to search for it. I'm like, no, I'm just going to call you a liar, because you are. That's what you've got to do. Now me, I've spent 10 years building up a channel. Yeah, so the people actually do know who I am. All right, there's 52 people watching currently. Please share the show if you haven't done so already. It's like 2 clicks. You can share the show onto a social media platform of your choosing, be it Bebo or MySpace or Skype, whatever it is you like. But share the show, and that's what accumulates 10 million, 11 million, 12 million views over a long period of time when I spend a lot of effort producing this, doing this, right? But in that particular example that you're now listening to for the first time as a public audience, it wasn't connected to anybody, literally. But we've got, well, Nathan's got a show, we should show him the respect. Nathan's muting us on the show, the audience can't hear us. This kind of shit. And somebody who gets a little bit offended, oh, right, this person has a tiny amount of popularity. Like 10 million views in the big scheme of things is nothing. Like, there's videos that Mr. Beast will put out that get 10 million views in a day. So it doesn't mean much. But to some people, oh, well, I want to be more popular than you. I'm going to lie about how many TikTok views. He later went on to lie about how many OnlyFans views he'd got. Why? Well, because he's got to demean his first lie by lying a slightly different, more absurd lie. Yeah? That's what you do, ballers. Not acknowledge how flat the whole point of the discussion was. Not acknowledge 90 degrees to your position means Earth can only be flat. A distance for a radial value for that circle of equal elevation means that the distance is and can only be flat. These are just facts. Not one has been acknowledged. We're getting this shit about TikTok views and whether or not I'm censoring them from an audience that doesn't exist. That's what we're getting. Yeah? Cowardice. Yeah, he doesn't like the fact that I've got a show and people tune in to hear what I've got to say. In his delusional mind that uses the false direction fallacy, he's got 13 million views on TikTok, the line.
I got 1 million on OnlyFans. 1 million OnlyFans.
Yeah, what we know, Robnoxious, is you're a lying... That's all you are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you haven't got 13 million views on TikTok. You're a lying... There's no 2 ways about this. Facts. There's no 2 ways about it.
Can I get a... I want to be a captain.
You want to stutter? Yeah, I know.
I'm a captain now. I'm a captain now.
You're not anything. You're a nobody. That's what you are.
No.
Yeah, when I suggested that you're a nobody, you suggested you got 13 million views on TikTok. You lied.
How you gonna talk about your biggest fan? This is like hurting my...
You said you got 13 million views, liar. You tried to make out that you're a somebody. You're not. Nobody gives the tiniest of shits about you. If you died tomorrow, nobody would care. Literally, nobody would even notice.
Ineffective is going to get no one anywhere.
Getting somewhere will require us to navigate the surface with flat linear distances, elevations from surface level, and elevation angles, a prerequisite to find lines of position with areas of equal altitude. That's how we'll get somewhere. We'll be navigating to get places.
All right, bro. It's his show. I don't... Go ahead, please.
Would you stop saying that, dude?
It's his show, bro. I got to humble myself, too.
No,
it is what it is.
It's Riggs' show. This is Riggs. Shout out to Riggs for hosting the show on his server. Cool.
Cool? Yeah, so it's not belief, you...
Which way is east?
Why are you asking me something? I've already explained. I won't be answering anything. I'm telling you, dumps, how flat Earth is measured with your own standard that you use. South, in your case, you stuttery spastic. Not the bottom. It's a horizontal orientation described in horizontal degrees from north when you, the dumb stuttery spastic, says something south and then falsely ascribing that be as the bottom.
Listen, when the king of spastics calls you a spastic...
Spastic! South's not the bottom of anything, you
Dang. I know you're the spastic.
No, I'm not. When I describe azimuth and altitude, I understand how horizontality is used with respect to perpendicularity when we describe the altitude of things for flat Earth measurements of elevation angles, and the directionality of things when we describe azimuth. That's not me being a spastic, it's you who falsely ascribed altitude descriptions of bottom to azimuth in the horizontal, making Robnoxious and interrupting foul mouth. Shut up.
You swear more than I do.
Yeah, I will call you when you use the false direction fallacy to suggest south is the bottom of something. It isn't, you stupid fud. South is azimuth. It's horizontal.
He did a really good job. He said you have a triangle, a 90-degree triangle, and you have the distance to the GP, and then you take an angle of elevation. So
let's see if we get some acknowledgement. So the guys acknowledge the main fundamentals of the point. Area of equal elevation, that's a circle of equal altitude, derived from an angle measurement from the surface level, that's an elevation angle, minus from 90 degrees. That's a 90 degree to your position that you've measured the angle. Times by 60, that's the distance in nautical miles that can only be linear and flat. So he's acknowledged the main points. Let's see if we get some concessions in terms of what that means for them, the bull-believing clowns who are summarising flat Earth prerequisites and measurements.
I'm down with that. Now, since you're really good
down with respect to a plane
at math, what's the height of the opposite side of that triangle?
Oh, so rather than an acknowledgement that we've got a flat Earth 90 degree, we've got a flat Earth elevation angle, we've got a derivative radial value with a circle that's two-dimensional of equal elevation, meaning same elevation, with the altitude angle that's also meaning with respect to surface. What's your question with respect to all of these things that we now proved Earth's flat with? What's the height of the star? Strawman burning mofo much? Sorry, are we navigating to the star, or are we navigating to the point on the ground that we're measuring for? That's GP. Which are we navigating to, the star or the ground?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, or go doesn't matter. So I'll accept flat Earth measurements of angle, 90 degrees, elevation angle, surface level, areas of equal altitude, ground positions, all flat. But I want to know the height. Why? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Do you want to read out Central Goat?
Central Goat has sent a super chat. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, Central Goat. He says, hello. Or red herring fallacy. So we're not measuring for the altitude. Nobody's building a little light switch for the light in the sky. We don't need to know how high the light in the sky is. We need to know our position with 3 intersect points on circles of equal elevation. That's utilization of ground. Ground position.
Can I ask you why?
I heard what you asked me, you dumped. You asked me how high the star... Again, so what he thinks is, I didn't hear him ask me for the straw man answer to height acquisition, something this process doesn't try and afford you. It's not necessary, has no practical application, and has even admitted that it doesn't have any use. There's no point in this, end quote him. What point? No point. Right? That's what he's admitting. But now he thinks that me reiterating the flat Earth prerequisite measurements that he's just conceded to, being with respect to a plane, isn't going to be tolerated. He needs to ask the same question through the top of me responding to him, distracting with this strawman. No, not a reiteration of the winning point. A barking of me giving you the same question you're currently answering for it being a strawman through the top of your answer. Was, and I pointed out that we're not measuring for the height of the star, we're not navigating to the star, we're finding our position on the ground with ground positions. You stupid spastic.
You can't do it?
Sorry, no, we don't need to. Now what's the response? Oh, so you can't do it? So you can't measure the useless height that nobody needs to find their way home when lost at sea? You can't do it, Nathan, because this is all about this being your celestial navigation process that fails when getting height that's not needed and is useless and won't save your life at sea. You can't do it, though. That's where we're going. Useless bunch of twats. to in not navigating to the star? Are you deaf?
Nathan, if you have one angle and a length, you can calculate the other side.
You can.
hear two other voices now?
Can you hear those two other voices? So one guy gets beaten shitless with his own use of flat earth prerequisites. His attempted straw man fails miserably, and now we can hear two new voices. Now, is this me with a mute button? No, it's me in a public platform where I've got no control over this shit. I just have to tolerate people who can't stand their ass getting spanked. I have to have a little white knights come in and save them. In this case, we've got two more voices suddenly. What's going on? Oh, it's because nobody wants to acknowledge how flat Earth is being measured for this process. Only the straw man of height or two other people piling on top of the losing argument that's being rumpused through the top of the repositioning of the exact same, not argument, fact. We measure Earth flat. That's what I'm trying to say, while three people piling in asking you questions. So we don't ever have to acknowledge how flat it is. This is cowardice, right? This is you, if you're watching this. This is what your brain does. Oh no, if I just don't hear how flat linear distance radial values are, if I just don't hear how flat we measure Earth with elevation angles, if I just don't hear the position that I've reiterated back to you, I can ask you about height, and Earth was never even measured.
See, Nathan, what's going on is you're laying down facts, and they're trying to turn it into an argument by looking to the stars and asking you for the height. They want an argument.
Yep. They don't want to acknowledge the end of the argument. Well, if we're going to have an argument about altitude, I already dealt with this as well, when the guy was like, well, what difference does it make? Why won't you just ascribe it 40 feet? I go, boom, now you've ascribed it 40 feet, not me. I'm never going to bite on this straw man. I'll point out why it's needed, like I'm doing now, but the minute you ascribe 40 feet in the vertical, that's an elevation from sea level. Now, I'm not ascribing that it's 40 feet that was ascribed earlier, but that was also a flat Earth measurement from sea level. Again, did it get acknowledged? Even though I'm not the one claiming 40 feet. Some other flurf has decided, I can't bear it. Keeps getting asked. Surely someone's got to give an answer. Now, that's how straw man works. Suddenly you're chasing down this red herring. Yeah? And once you get hold of it, they set it on fire. Well, why would you want to do that? No, stick to the point. Who cares what the altitude, also a flat Earth measurement from sea level, is if you acquire it with a process that isn't designed to get you star altitudes? Again, a point that hasn't been acknowledged once. Got a lot of squirming cucks from the ball side, though, who all need to pile on me at once in this public platform. You did too. Sorry, would you like to explain the practical application for the acquisition of the height of the star? Does it just come with a load of muting? Sorry, is there a practical application? Second time you're going to keep muting me while I destroy your suggestion of height?
I have a simple question.
I'm answering your last suggestion that we could get height of... No, don't want to conclude with the flat Earth prerequisites and pointing out how the height's a straw man. No, new question. Let's just stick our fingers in the ears and ignore how the straw man that you've attempted to burn is failing miserably. Yeah, let's just move on to a new question. Nah, I'm all right. I'll stay here indefinitely. No worries.
There was about 5 people spazzing out at once.
Of the star, and I asked if there was a practical application for it when we're measuring for GP.
Yes. Are you interested in where we live?
Stuttery bitch! Yeah, what's the practical application for the height of the star?
Knowledge.
Sorry, so when we're out at sea about to die, you think that you need to acquire the knowledge of the height of the star? If you were on my dinghy, I would strangle you and throw you over the side of the boat while you put in jeopardy the lives of the people who need to know where they are on the ground, because you suggest we should waste our time acquiring the height of a star that we're not navigating to. Knowledge for what? Will that knowledge save our life?
So you don't know the height of the star?
We don't need to. We're navigating to ground positions. We're figuring out our fix on the ground. We're not flying out to the stars, you stupid...
No, I'm just asking.
No, you're just asking because you want knowledge. Like I say, if you were on the lifeboat, I'd be strangling you and throwing you over the edge while you tell everybody to fuck around getting heights. We don't need to fight, you stupid spastic. That's why you're being strangled and thrown overboard while we figure out where we are on the ground.
So you can do it, you just don't want to.
You call me crazy. You call me crazy, dude.
No, I didn't ask or acquire any heights of stars. No amount of murderous intent will even sway their straw man. Like, no, only the straw man of height. No, we cannot acknowledge any flat earth measurement used to get us to this position under any circumstances. No, we will never acknowledge the practical use that would save your life at sea, even if it's being put in a circumstance where my straw man gets me metaphorically murdered. No, only the straw man.
Yeah, because
in the celestial sphere,
if they burn that straw man,
an ascribe. Sorry, Neil, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, because they think if they could burn that straw man, that negates everything that you established about Earth being flat.
Oh, I see. So what they want is me to go, oh, you know what? When we're in our safe place, back home after the real men have murdered the dweeb that wanted to get the height, once we're home and we know exactly where we are with our slippers on, then we can measure angles in this same vein with this same process that isn't designed to get star heights, and you can calculate the opposite. So what's the height? You're like, oh my God, will you really never relinquish this, you dweebs? Is this really your only tactic so that you can subvert the flat measurements? And if I say, oh, I don't know what the height is, then suddenly what? All the flat earth measurements, that's a degree from surface level, altitude, angle. A radial value, that's a linear distance after minusing the angle from 90 and timesing it by 60 linear nautical miles on a flat surface. That they all go away because little old me didn't know the height in a system not designed to get height, something I've pointed out multiple times. And why? The celestial sphere with infinite distance. All of which must be ignored, because if you could get me to say, I don't know the height, that means all bets are off in the mind's eye of a dweeb. Okay.
Yes. And that's what Jedi and those guys at 24/7 fell victim to. Okay?
All right, well, I've got words for you, lads. Yeah. You showing that I can't extract your straw man attempt of height to burn when I don't offer it you, not that it's useful or anything, you haven't acknowledged the response that you've been given about 7 times in this particular example. That means that suddenly we don't measure Earth in linear miles. No, we're still going to go through the exact same process. SalNav will never change. Had we have not had this discussion, SalNav would still be measuring linear miles. Miles would still be linear. Maps would still be scaled with flat distances. Topographical deviations would still be measured from surface level in the horizontal with linear miles. Nothing that's taking place here has any bearing on how flat Earth is and will always be measured. Like, we have no bearing on this. But in the mind's eye of a fart-sniffing delusional twat, they think that showing a flat earther doesn't know how to acquire a height of a star that isn't a process for acquiring it means that we didn't measure all these things flat? Wow, you've got to be pretty delusional. Describable height, they are described as being infinitely distant, because the elevation angle measurement remains the same at all altitudes it is measured from. Ergo, this convention, that's the celestial sphere, is described as having infinite distance. The only cards that ascribe distance to stars are you bunch of spastics, and you don't do it with elevation angles.
Oakley can calculate it, he just doesn't want to. That's
right. Why would I need to as my rebuttal? We're not going to them, you stupid twat. So, yeah, Neil, spot on. No, but Nathan can't do it. Therefore, all bets are off. Right? Therefore, what? It's not flat? It's not linear? No, nothing you've done here has changed anything. Fart-sniffing dweebs. I've rebutted you 4 times, and now you're saying, well, Nathan can't do it. For what purpose? The answer was knowledge.
No.
How high the stars are.
Let's see if he'll answer it.
Yeah, let Wesley finish.
I would like to know. I would like to know how far the stars are away. I'm sure a lot of your viewers would.
That's why you get strangled and thrown over the side of the lifeboat. Other people are trying to find out their position so they don't die, so they can find their way home on a map. While you ponder how high they are, other people will be fixing to murder you, so you don't put in jeopardy the people who find out where they are on the ground. Not how high the star is, so you can wonder about it and sniff your own farts.
So it's weird. You know you can calculate it, but you...
I know that you're a stuttery little who wants to know the height of the stars when this process is for finding ground positions, not elevations of stars, you stupid...
Nathan, you could do the calculations once you get back to safe ground. Like,
yeah, because that's just what I want to do. Oh my God, we nearly died. The boat sank, we were in a dinghy, we had to find our position with celestial navigation, get our bearings and gone home. Now we're home. What do you want to do, Billy Dweeb? I know, I'm going to measure the angle of this star because I want to know how high it is. Is that what you do with your spare time, fart sniffers?
I'm going to hug my family and thank God that there's a system that we use by looking at the stars and measuring elevation angles and getting me home to my family.
Oh, forget all that, Neil. Are you saying you can't get the height? It's the first thing I'm going to do when I get home. Once I'm in my safe space, I'll be measuring angles and extracting height from them. Really, you fart-sniffing dweeb, I'll be making love to my wife.
I think the threat of drowning is real.
For what?
You can just take the measurements.
For what?
And then when you get back to safe ground,
for what? Are you just deaf? For what? You hear three people spazzing out all at once. But maybe that was Eddebear with his suggestion that people can't be heard. The audience that's only now in existence that he was lying about me having when he was suggesting people can't be heard. No, we can definitely hear three ball believers spazzing out through the top of me. We can definitely hear that. For what purpose? There's no practical use for this.
Very, weak. He's drowned in a tiny little puddle.
Oh, it's Omnivore, the guy who measured Earth flat with the mountain height. There's no practical purpose for doing this. Meanwhile, measuring your elevation angle for GP position can save your life at sea. It's called celestial navigation. At no point in the well-documented process of celestial navigation do you need to acquire the height of any stars. Oh, but it's so interesting. I love going home and finding out the height of the stars. Don't you, dweebs? Yeah, because you're boring. Elevation angle is a degree measurement from surface level. It's not the acquisition of a feet measurement.
Well, we know that the sextant angle is not an elevation angle, as refracted curvature.
It's just lying. Again, we know a sextant doesn't measure an elevation. That's exactly what it does. That's its main primary purpose.
So, as you can't measure the Earth flat with a sextant.
So, again, lying through his back teeth. Its only purpose is to measure these points at 90 degrees to your position. That's what it's for. That's what the tool's used for. So, what's he got to do? Well, lie. Oh, we can't measure a flat Earth with this tool that measures a flat Earth. Lying scumbag. We only measure Earth flat with a sextant. It's measuring an elevation angle, part of the angle, as depicted on screen now, in this example with zenith and polar axis, on the depiction from a flat surface with the angle running along the surface. Where Eddebear lies and says that a flat Earth isn't measured with an angle. I have a... Is it just me, or can I hear Eddebear through the top of me? Sorry, a moment ago, Eddebear the liar suggested that the audience couldn't hear what was being said. No, we can definitely hear you interrupting me, you lying piece of shit. It's just at the time you suggested that I was somehow censoring you, there was no audience. But now there is an audience, we can all hear what Eddebear has to do to try and take a position of advantage. He has to lie. No, Eddebear, we can definitely hear you interrupting the painful fact that shows you're wrong. But the fact that it shows you wrong needs your voice through the top of my voice? Oh no, I thought I censored that because I'm performing to an audience, Eddebear. No, we can definitely hear your dumbass interrupting me with the terrified fear in the tone of your voice as you get shown to be an abject coward and liar. Diagrammatical example for my audience's indulgence, describing polar axis measured from a flat Earth. Is that Edda Bear's voice again? Sorry, I was under the misapprehension when told by a liar that this was being censored from the audience's ears, right, Edda Bear? No, you're just a lying scumbag. That's what you will always be, Edda Bear, just a liar. Like claiming you got 13 million views on TikTok, this is no different. You're just a liar. You all have to. That's what you have to do as a bull-believing scumbag. Your only way to suggest you're in an advantaged position is to lie. That's it. That's all you've got. Misrepresent me like celestial navigation's mine. Like, if you can show that I can't find the height of a star, all bets are off and we're not measuring a flat Earth. And when I'm pointing out how flat Earth is measured, apparently these scumbags who interrupt me incessantly and mute me are being censored from the audience that doesn't exist until now. Scumbags, liars, all of them. That's all they've got. Lies. Non-stop lies. Edda Bear is simply wrong. He's going to waffle through the top of me rebutting what he said, because that's what they've got to do. They will suggest that we don't measure Earth flat for elevation angle, while I have a diagrammatical example of exactly that with polar axis.
Waffling bad.
Yeah, you sound like
Can you show us, man? Can you bring it up? Can you put it in chat or something?
How many people do we count spazzing out at this point? Is it 2 or 3? Sounds like a lot of ball believers spazzing out because they can't cope with our flat Earths being measured. In this case, we've got somebody who's contradicting the base principle of the measurement and saying that the tool that's used to measure Earth's flat surface for elevation angles doesn't measure it. Instantly being disproven by a diagrammatical example with respect to an angle that's later extrapolated out into sphericity. That's a polar axis. What are we hearing? Oh, we're hearing the very censored Edda Bear chat skanking through the top of me, and a white knight for the white knight. What do you know? You can suck my balls if you want. Can you suck my balls and give me good eye contact? Can you suck on my bollocks?
If you do that first,
can you suck on my bollocks first?
Don't do nothing for nothing.
Can you suck on my bollocks first? Can you suck on my nuts first? So what's happening here is I'm being asked if I can supply the diagram in Discord, and I've gone no, I won't be doing anything for you at all ever. And they've gone, well, if you just supply the diagram, I've gone, if you just suck on my bollocks.
The videos.
Yeah, give me good eye contact while you suck on my bollocks.
It's a surprise.
No, I won't be doing anything for any of you bunch of... Absolutely not.
No, but he always says he has the stuff.
What I will do is demonstrate to the audience where Edda Bear... Yeah, I'll demonstrate to an audience the whole purpose of being here, to keep the lights on and keep my kids fed, where people lie, like Edda Bear's a liar. Will I be providing you with materials in your Discord server? No, not unless you suck on my bollocks. Absolutely not. That's not why I'm here. To serve you with diagrams. Now, I couldn't give a flying fuck if you understand this shit. It's inconsequential if I understand it, let alone you understanding it. But I do have a paying audience. And they're my first priority. Not you cucks who seem to have appointed yourself importance in these Discord servers. Like you have some arbitration over celestial navigation when you tell me no. End quote. Why? Well, no, because you can't get the height from this process, not for height. And you're censoring us all while 3 of us pile on top of you in an open server. Sorry, this is a diagrammatical example of measuring Earth flat for polar axis.
Yeah, good mods.
Okay, so Nathan is going to respond to Wesley, and when he's done with Wesley, and then Elderberg will get in. All right?
I'm sharing this model.
Good mod.
But I made him blend.
It's just we can't hear anybody when you guys, there's 3 of you going back and forth with them.
If you want to talk about it, you can talk.
Oh, sorry, there's somebody in the server moaning. No, when you're all piling on Nathan, muting him simultaneously, we can't hear anything. Yeah, that's right. What's that? You're moaning at them for causing audio chaos? What, muting me, you mean? I thought it was me, the guy with the mute button. No, I go in these open public servers that I've got no control over. And then there's people who are ancillary to the discussion with 3 people simultaneously piling on top of me. Also suggesting, as Edda Bear lied about, that I'm somehow censoring him? No, definitely not. I mean, that's what you'll need to claim, though, when you get battered by me. Oh, I was censored. He didn't let my voice come through. The bits that he was censoring destroyed him.
Talk through this, you can use this as a...
Right, stuttery, is that Omnivore?
As a topic.
Omnivore, you measured altitude to mountains. Flat. with respect to sea level. That silence actually lasted more like 15 seconds. I edited it down. So he starts waffling off about a model that he's going to strawman me with and suggests his mind that he's going to take apart and burn. And I say, you measured Earth flat with angles to a mountain there, Omnivore. Stony silence for 10 plus seconds. That's what you get. Or maybe he was saying it and I was muting him. Maybe if I just release the tapes, we'll all see how Omni destroyed me on the secret tapes that aren't released.
Well, in chat, you got somebody saying, Nathan, I love you, brother, but you've let their stupidity frustrate you. You're better than that, brother. I'd like to have a conversation. I guess he means conversation with you. Then he goes on to say,
Hold on, let me just respond to that bit first. It's an open show. If you want to hear the intro, I've said it 2,500 times. Click the link below this video. You can join the discussion and express your views on the nature of Earth. End quote me about an hour ago. So you want to talk to me, just click on the link and join. That's what the server's for. That's what these people I'm talking to have done. Joined a server and then there they are talking to me. It's really easy.
Well, listen to this. People who defend the globe model don't understand that all flight plan calculations are based upon a flat, non-rotating model. If all your plans are based upon flat and not rotating, then once you take off, everything starts spinning. Your flight plans would be worthless.
Okay.
So he wants to talk to you about reality.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what he's saying is when you take off with a flight plan that describes your altitude from sea level, flight levels don't suddenly change and become ball-shaped once you take off. No, they don't, that's right. But why are you telling me what they don't do? Flight levels are all you need. We fly with respect to a plane that we've measured to the millimetre accuracy, so planes don't fly into mountains, that we've measured from sea level. That's why you get ascribed an altitude. What's the altitude called out from ground control as? A flight level. It's perpendicular to ground level. And the topographical deviations of ground level are measured to the millimetre accuracy from sea level. All of these parallel levels are the topographical measurement of Earth. Notice how I didn't say how we weren't accounting for something in that. That's completely redundant. But it ties into the PSYOP version of Flat Earth. If you start telling me how something that's an unequivocal Flat Earth measurement and prerequisite, in this case perpendicular altitude for an aeroplane, isn't accounting for some sphericity, you're inviting a baller to say, oh yes we do. What? Violate the axiom of flight level? No, why would I invite them to challenge this like there should be some account made for a presupposition that's violating the axiom of parallel flight level? They do use flight level. That's the end of the discussion, though.
No. But if the Earth was spinning, these flight plans would not work, Nathan.
Well, then you'd need some positive spin proof. Right? What do we actually have as an assertion that proves we're spinning? So saith ball believers. Well, the suggestion that we have a Coriolis deflection. That is to say, Earth is alleged to turn underneath the aeroplane. Yeah, we'd notice. Charlotte to North Carolina to Los Angeles would take about an hour and a half instead of approximately 5 hours if Earth was turning underneath the plane as a second, non-inertial frame of reference. It isn't. We'd notice. There is no positive assertion. What's that I hear? Can you hear that? You and your reference frames are ruined. What's that, Dan? No reference frames? Yeah, no shit. There is no proof of Earth turning. So the positive assertion fails on its arse. Don't need to assert that it's not applicable to aircraft. There's a positive claim to justify the extraordinary claim that Earth's surface is a non-inertial turning reference frame. Yeah, you're going to need to back that extraordinary claim. Oh, you haven't backed it, then I don't care what it isn't applicable to. Meanwhile, Earth is definitely measured flat when we take off and fly parallel to the ground at a given ascribed flight level. Any more for any more? Any other comments? In that case, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
Hey, Len, you there?
Clearly not.
Yeah, that video you just went over, that's very telling, isn't it? Sounds like the beginning of I Feel Fine by the Beatles.
Oh, it was me herbicide sprayer. Got a battery-powered one, so I have to compass. I'm all high-tech. What's up, dude? Sorry it took so long to get me phone out of my pocket.
Well, I'll talk to you later about it. Interesting, though, how they responded to you. I mean, you know, when you hear it the second and third time through, you pick up all these things that you may have missed because everybody was spazzing out at once. Just ignore everything and talk about, well, you're not measuring the height of the star. And it gives them a win in their mind.
Yeah, it's pathetic, isn't it?
I mean, it's sad. I mean, how do you skip over everything? Just close your ears, close your eyes, and just say, look, Nathan can, but he just doesn't want to calculate the distance to the star.
Not that it has any use, and I accept that it has no use. I understand that you would probably be killing me if we were on a boat doing this right now. But still, you can't measure the height.
Yeah, they fell for the trigonometry thing. Like, nobody's doing trig when you're doing celestial navigation. You may be using parts of it, right?
Yeah, when you're using a 90-degree triangle and minusing from 90, yes, I can understand that there's trigonometric functionality. But it isn't trig, it's salnav.
Exactly. It really should be called Earth navigation. But I get it, you're using the celestials to navigate the Earth.
The whole point of it is there are basic flat measurements required to take the calculations you're having.
That's our representative from Antarctica speaking.
Well,
Rectifier, why are you on deaf and mute? Are you here as a silent protest? I'd love to know what you're protesting.
If you paid attention to the chat, you would know.
I can't pay attention to the chat. I did see that, though. So why don't you fill us in, Hop?
I'm pretty sure it's Elder Bear.
Oh.
Yeah. He won't open his mic. He says he's at work. He's full of shit. He's talking just exactly the way Elder Bear talks. So just open your mic and prove me wrong. And he does the same shit. You can't prove a negative. Yes, you can. In this case, you open your mic and prove me wrong. Dumbass. So I'm pretty sure it's Elder Bear. And then what's his name? Alpha Murphy. I don't know who that is either. And DJ Wakes.
Hold on.
I don't know any of these people.
We know who Alpha Murphy is. Go ahead, Nathan. Tell him who Alpha Murphy is.
I just want to praise Harp. I really like this. You're like the Discord police. This is ace. You know, everyone's going on and what's their businesses. Absolutely brilliant, Harp. I'm loving this.
No, hold on. How can you say brilliant? He just said he doesn't know who Alpha Murphy is.
Yeah, but we do.
Alpha Murphy, let me tell you who he is, Harp. Hold on. He needs permission from his wife to speak. But the last time, he went against her wishes to not speak and got his ass handed to him. So you know right now she's saying, do not open that mic. If you do, I'm out of here. He takes the lead from his wife.
Okay, I didn't hear that. I wasn't here.
In one of the
Well,
members
who's
only
DJ
shows.
Wakes? You know who that is?
Who?
DJ
Wakes. He's a regular. I think he's a flatty.
You know, when somebody
so
says your name, you can just come off mute and say, "Hey, I'm so and so. It's good to be here."
My name's Nathan Oakley, and I'm good to be here. I'm an alcoholic.
Okay, hold on. We got
has
the
a
River
problem.
Cat guy. Make some space. Now, you said you wanted a conversation with Nathan because you felt that the ballers were getting him frustrated, and he's better than that. So open your mic and speak to Nathan.
Yes, Nathan. Everyone that looks at this topic and who is intellectually honest, fast realizes that the Earth is a flat topographical plane. It is not rotating. If we were to take a flight, say, from New York to Australia and make the calculations the way that they tell us to do using a flat, non-rotating model, by the time when we took off in New York, and all of our calculations are based upon a flat, non-rotating model for a flight, according to the numbers that were given, according to the heliocentric model, when we took off, time we got to Japan, calculation. But we
Can you come off Bluetooth and speak directly into the phone? Because we're hearing you, but very low.
I think I got his gist. He's just saying that it doesn't work on a ball. Lights. And I agree with you.
That is my fault, gentlemen. I had my Bluetooth speaker on and did not realize it.
No, it's okay.
But like I was saying, if you were to leave New York flying to Tokyo, and all your calculations were based upon a flat, non-rotating model, between the time you took off and the time you landed, Japan would not be where it was supposed to be.
Yeah, if Earth was a non-inertial turning reference frame, then Earth would be turning underneath the flight. You're correct.
So here's the funny thing, right? You're just worried about the spin, but as we're flying through an infinite vacuum of space at 1.5 million miles an hour, nothing would work at all. We wouldn't exist.
Wow, we are going backwards today, aren't we?
Well, if we're told there's a vacuum next to our pressurized atmosphere with no barrier, if there was not a barrier, that vacuum would strip away our atmosphere in a nanosecond.
I got something better. Earth measures flat, so all of that nonsense goes out the window.
Yes, sir. But this is the age of deception. And once you realize that and realize how people are so enamored with their own deceptions, their entire reality is based upon deceptions. And when you destroy anything having to do with that, then it makes them question their core principles.
And you don't think measurement does that?
Oh, measurement certainly does that. That's the reason they freak out at the Earth being physically measured as flat.
Right. What I'm saying is they'll argue all day long about Coriolis, gravity, and all these other things, and how people say, well, it don't work on a globe. They'll love to entertain that. But the measurements get them tripping out, where you got 5 people jumping in at once because they can't handle the measurement. It's like the Wicked Witch when Dorothy throws water on her. I'm melting, I'm melting. They start short-circuiting.
What was
my original statement was to Nathan that, Nathan, you let the ignorance of these people who are throwing out falsities frustrate you so bad, brother. You are a genius when it comes to figuring out all this and relaying that information to people very eloquently. But be careful, brother, letting them draw you into battles where it's pointless to argue with an idiot, because they will drag you down to their level of stupidity and beat you with experience and stupidity.
I agree. I'll take it under advisement. Thank you very much. I understand and appreciate you just looking out for me.
That's all I had to say, brother. You stay blessed, and I'm gonna get out of here and stay tuned in. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Nathan, don't let them drag you down. Enough with the fistings.
Well, he's right, and I like it. I appreciate that his sentiment. I completely agree with, and it shouldn't annoy me. In many instances, like on the pre-show, it's like, this wouldn't annoy me that somebody's robbing my material and responding to it before I published it if I wasn't so poor. But people pick on your weaknesses, don't they? So no, I'm going to take it under advisement. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. It's only because this guy cares that he said that. It's not because he's trying to diss me.
I know that. But still, we went in there for a purpose. That was what you were doing. You were going there to do that. Well, not that time. That time we went in there as because we were actually bored. Right? There was nothing going on. I get it. I just don't like the reverse freaking proving that Earth is not a globe to prove that it's flat. I can't take that. That makes me short circuit.
Yeah, I understand. You're right with the guy that was just speaking to us. He's stuck in the old school version of this doesn't work on a ball. You're like, okay. We haven't taken the ball into account, is what your main positioning of this rhetoric is. It's like, okay, but I could say we haven't taken Freddy Krueger into account either, have we? Oh no, well, but that's not the world that we're living in. You're like, well, yeah, but it is a version of reality that people could believe in if they want to. Like, we haven't taken Chucky into account then. Oh well, Chucky's not real. Okay, we haven't taken Manson into account then. You know what I mean? It's like there's plenty of things we haven't taken into account, but what we've done is measure it flat, and that's your gripe. Well, softly catch the monkey, Neil. Over time, if there's people who appreciate how effective it is to take the person who's pretending there's an argument to their own use of flat Earth measurements, how quickly that demolishes the position, that you can only lead by example. You can only show people how effective and devastating that is, and how that you just have the opponents spaz out when they hear it. Well, that with time will show its fruition will come with time. People will see that happening over time.
Yeah, we just seen it happen in a lifetime. Well, recorded lifetime, but lifetime now. As you're breaking down measurements, they're flipping out. What's the height of the star? What's the height of the star? You can't tell us?
I do think it's pretty pathetic that is their logic. If you can't show the height of the star, all bets are off. I win. Earth's a ball. That is dweeby their sad, pathetic dweeby logic.
Well, where else can they go, Nathan? If they go, it's kind of smart, because if they go anywhere else, they're in trouble. So they have to go to trigonometry, and they have to show to an audience, look, he's not giving me the measurement of the star. If we're doing trigonometry, which we're not, we're doing celestial navigation, you explained that very well. It's just a tactic.
My favourite is, what's that? I'd get thrown over the side and strangled. Yeah, but can you measure the height?
Fisherman in the box is in the house again. Good to see you, Fisherman. How are you? Might be busy.
Diligently setting up for the day. We had another fantastic windstorm here in Minnesota, and weather. And excellent presentation this morning, Nathan, Neil. Great stuff, guys. Just great.
Thanks.
Communist Minnesota, huh?
Yeah, it's Minnesota, all right. where springtime is never arrives, and fall arrives for 2 weeks, and summer is 6 weeks, and then 9 months of winter. It's Minnesota. All the stereotypes are true, but it's the fifth flattest. It's the fifth flattest state in the United States of America.
Wow.
I mean,
do you know when
they're
I was
all
a kid?
flat, but what's that?
When I was a kid, I was a big Minnesota Viking fan. I watched Fran Tarkenton lose 3 Super Bowls, made me sick. Lost to Miami, Pittsburgh, and freaking the Raiders.
Well, that legend continues here in Minnesota. They don't know how to put a team together. They don't know how to play football.
I did not know that Bud Grant, it's his fault. He never put a game plan together for the Super Bowl. They just went out there and freaking played. Yeah, I heard Fran Tarkenton talking about it. He said the one thing, like today, there's game plans. Like some teams come out and they got 15 plays scripted, and that's what they go by to start the game. They never put any game plan together. They just went out there and played, which is kind of freaking stupid. Probably why you lost 3. But they had good teams, man.
Oh, they had great teams. That defensive front 4 was insane. Fran Tarkenton and his cast of wide receivers, and they were awesome.
You had Chuck Foreman, John Gilliam. On the defense, you had freaking the Purple People Eaters, Alan Page, Carl Eller. Yeah, they were good. Anyway, Nathan will flip out if we continue talking about sports. But it was played on a flat field.
Yeah, yes, it was. Yes, it was. Well, the analogy of tossing the celestial, I got to know how far it is to the star dweeb out of the lifeboat. That's what was so. I was rolling driving down the highway this morning. I mean, that's excellent, and that's exactly what they seem to do these days. Is they just want to dance with the straw man or eat the red herring, and it doesn't have anything to do with anything that's, again, like yesterday, has nothing to do with reality. You're not going to travel to a star while we're sitting in the middle of a body of water looking to find our way home. Just excellent stuff. Just excellent stuff.
I think they do that too because Nathan, I think they want to get you into the debate or argument that the Celestials don't obey our geometry, because that's what happened with Vax when he went to freaking Tune. They want to get you into that, so they were throwing a bait out there, and you didn't bite.
It's to me, it just seems like it's worthy of a comedy sketch. Sorry, Len, go ahead.
I was just saying they just want you to make a claim so they can battle against it.
Do you ever see Keen and Peele?
Yes.
This reminds me of the type of sketch that they would do. That is to say, you set the scene out in the middle of an ocean with 5 or 6 people in a lifeboat, and a couple of them have got the map out and they're trying to keep the water from getting on it, and they're trying to keep it dry, and they've got their sextant, they've got their almanac, and they're looking at the time and measuring angles, and they're like having the conversation as you zoom in on the scene, and that's what's going on, right? And the one guy's like, well, how many rations have we got? How many days can we actually survive out here? Have we got enough water? What's in the lifeboat? Right, what are you guys doing? You're going to try and measure with the sun? We're going to find our position with the sun then, yeah? We're going to do it with the sun. And they're all sort of discussing how they're going to go about measuring the angle. Who's going to mark the time? Who's going to look it up in the almanac? Who's going to actually draw it on the map? How are we going to do this? And then you hear this adenoidal voice go, excuse me, I think we should actually dedicate a little bit of this time to figuring out the height of the star. And they go, no, we don't need that, we're all right. And then he goes, excuse me, I don't want to be too persistent, but I do think this is very, very valuable information, and for informational reasons, we should really dedicate some of our time finding out the height of this star. I think you'll all agree. And they go, no, we'd rather not. And then it shows a little clock, like in the corner of the screen, showing an elapsed time of about the time that I had spent debating with these Muppets just then, maybe half an hour. Half an hour goes by, and then it stops the clock because it's showing like a fast forwarding of them constantly having this same round and round discussion about getting the height with this dweeb, and then it just shows them strangling him and throwing him over the edge, and then them carrying on actually trying to find out where the hell they are. And as he floats away, it's really important, we need to get the height.
Nathan, we're doing it for knowledge, okay? We want knowledge of the celestials and knowledge of our Earth that we live on. What's wrong with you?
That's actually a very good analogy, Nathan.
I think Nathan just wants to remain ignorant. He wants no knowledge.
Yeah, everyone's going, I hope I see my wife again. I hope I see my children again. Excuse me. I hope we find out the height of this star.
Well, wouldn't you want to know the height of the star? I mean, you could do a lot of things when you know the height of a star. Meanwhile, the height of a star, that would be distance, right?
Yeah. And you're not getting it. Yeah, just keep hand-wave dismissing the elevation angle that you got from our flat Earth to beg the question and red herring everyone for a height of a star. Meanwhile, the Earth's measured flat with celestial navigation. The Earth's measured flat, the Earth's flat.
I'm telling you, they wanted him to get into that because they want to get into that freaking argument that the celestials do not obey our geometry here on Earth. That's what they want to get into. So they can say, well, that's not actually true. I've heard them do it before.
Make believing it's the same as a terrestrial elevation angle that you can actually get the height of a mountain or a building with things like rise over run that you can solve for the distances of the hypotenuse and the opposite and the adjacent sides to give you all the angle values and their distances. Yeah, you can do that with a terrestrial item. There's a difference. That's reality. The Earth's measured flat. The Earth's flat.
A rectifier. Are you allowed to go to the bathroom when you're at work or no? Because you could go to the bathroom. In the bathroom, you could open your fucking mic, you little bitch troll.
Don't swear. What happened? He's in chat trolling now? Chat skanking?
Oh, he has been, but, he's not deafened anymore, so he can, record whatever. I'm pretty sure this is Elderbear, because every kind of answer that he gave was exactly the way Elderbear talks. He would not address me directly. And on WWD, after he got booted, he was over there blaming me and Viking, and specifically me, for getting him banned. So he doesn't want to directly communicate in any way with me. He's afraid. He's a little bitch, and that's why. Very simple. Go to the bathroom, open your mic.
Well, if he doesn't do it, then you know who it is. So it's very simple.
Well, I can tell just by the way he's writing in here, man. He's writing exactly like Elderbear would write.
Well, here's the thing. He's been known. See, you know what the problem is? We busted him before. He also comes in as Hayuka. Hello, Nathan.
Yeah, Hayuka.
And then, without realizing it, he goes to his regular voice. Just characters.
What kind of life is that? Can you imagine?
Well, the life is ignore all the flat measurements and say pi equals 2. So there you go. Or how does one know the Earth is measured flat if one never takes a measurement? That's his logic. Never mind, you have maps and stuff like that.
I must say, in 1988, I was almost killed at sea. And when we got back, after 3 hours of thinking we were going to die, and the Coast Guard had to rescue us, we both shook for about 2 weeks after the fact.
Hold on. You can't just throw that out there. What the hell happened? How'd you almost die at sea?
Yeah, well, we were going fishing. Me and my buddy Steve, not Steve A. Didn't know him. So we took the wives down the shore. He had a pretty decent boat, but it was just a 223 inboard. It didn't really have balls. So we mostly stuck in the bay. At the time, it was called Barnegat Bay Inlet. I don't know if you're familiar with that area off Toms River in New Jersey.
Yes, I am.
It used to be marked with skull and crossbones because of the breakers. When you go through that inlet at the wrong time, a lot of people were just getting swamped. So, they just get pulled under, and they lose the boat. Sometimes their lives. So we were going out the one day, and we had all this knowledge, Because one time we actually had to turn in the inlet, get out of the inlet, and we made it, thankfully. This one day we were out there. The tide was changing. The sea turned to glass. It was amazing. So we were looking at each other going, oh my, we had been catching a few fish, a couple red snappers here and there, And we look at each other, it's like, dude, let's do it. Let's do it. And we knew inside not to do this. But we were drawn out like there were mermaids. So we went out, we were fishing, and it started getting a little choppy. And then it started getting a little more choppy. And we were still fishing, because that's how it works sometimes. Then all of a sudden, it started getting really, really bad. And the wakes started getting to be about 5-6 feet.
Damn.
And the next thing you know, they were 10 feet.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we were about a mile out at this point now. And now we're dealing with 20-foot wakes. The boat is literally in the air, dropping into the water, and just, fucking shit was coming loose. It was a fiberglass boat. He thought it was just going to break, and we were just going to get, drowned in whatever. Because what was going on was the waves were coming in, and the tide was going out. So it was causing a swamping effect. We couldn't turn around and get back in. Every time, he tried to turn around, my God, Steve, go back, because I was in the back of the boat, I was in the front driving, and we're gonna go under, And he turned around, and oh my God! So 3 hours later, and Steve, we got to call the Coast Guard. I called the Coast Guard, and they said, I forget what we were gonna do. Put something on it. I forget.
Leave
they
you
told
out
us
there,
not to. Some
presumably.
Digital coordinates, I think he was going to do, right?
Break you up.
They didn't want us to do that. They wanted us to put a life jacket on the highest point of our boat. So we did that. Then the next thing you know, they're saying, okay, we spotted you. And we're watching, and I'm going, hey, Steve, the Coast Guard's going the wrong way. They're going sideways. They're not coming out for us, man. They're going after somebody else. And then they figured out, yeah, somebody had a fucking life jacket on the highest point of their boat for no reason. It was crazy. So we're still out there, desperate. We couldn't turn around. So finally they realized they're in the wrong place, and they toward us. They finally spot us. So they're creeping up and getting closer. Now, this is a big twin outboard Coast Guard boat, It comes close and I'm going, oh my God, thank God. And a wave would come up and the boat disappeared. They were only maybe 150 feet away. Yeah. And the whole boat just disappeared. And I'm going, oh my God, these waves are no, man. Even though the Coast Guard's here, Steve, I don't know if I'm doing safe. So they wanted us.
Sorry to
wanted
interrupt.
me to get out on the front of the boat and grab a tow line.
I just wanted to
like,
interrupt
yeah,
for a moment. Did you calculate the height of the stars while this was going on?
What is he? What? Well, Steve was like, dude, yeah, we really need to get the. It was daytime, so we couldn't see any stars. It was the sun. Anyway, so they realized, nah, it's too rough, and we were going, okay, we can't turn the boat around because they kept saying, try to turn the boat, and we were telling them we can't turn the boat around. And if one of you guys want to board the boat and turn it around, you're welcome to come over. And they couldn't do it because we're talking about like 15, 20-foot waves. Seriously, this is insane. So finally, they were able to get us a tow line, grab the front of our boat. They did it. I didn't have to do anything. They just got pulled real close. I couldn't believe how this boat could just sit on the top of a wave with the twin outboards. It was in total control. And they hooked us up, and we had no choice but to turn around. It got really close, man. I'd say like 3 inches from going under. And they were able to get enough speed going to where we got back up, put us back in 3 miles. So I had a little bit of weed back then, so I put the weed in my shoe. But we had 2 cases of beer. We each had a case of beer. We're 28 years old, right? We're having fun. We're fishing. We got beer, and So one by one, I was throwing beer out before we called the Coast Guard because I knew we were going to have to call the Coast Guard. So I threw 46 beers overboard because we only drank 1 each.
What? Wait a second. Hold on. You can't have beer on the ocean?
No, in 1988, no, that would have been drunken driving. And he would lost his license and his driver's license as well. Yeah, that's a fact.
But hold on. So if you go fishing, hold on, Hop. If you go fishing on a charter boat, can you bring beer?
You can't.
No beer on the ocean. Wow, I didn't know that.
Now, if you go on a party boat, they have some type of license where they can, because they're driving, they could sell you beer.
Right.
You could buy
That's what I meant, the charter boat, a party boat. Yeah. Okay. So you were out there getting hammered for 3 hours. You were getting hammered by the ocean for 3 freaking hours?
3 hours, yeah. We were. I was shaking so bad, I thought I was going to come apart like the boat. It was bad.
People don't realize how rough the waters are over there, and in the Rockaways in New York. People do not realize, if you don't know what you're doing, I'm not saying you guys didn't, but a lot of people in the Rockaways, Queens, Rockaway Beach, they go swimming, and you really shouldn't go out too far if you don't know how to swim.
Right.
Waters are rough over there.
Correct.
And it can happen out of nowhere. It could be nice and calm, and then all of a sudden, forget it.
Yeah, all of a sudden, that's what happens. So they wanted to inspect the boat. I was thinking, oh God, thank God I fucking threw all that beer out, right? Because I know they're going to open that cooler. And so they inspected everything. We had the life jackets. We were up to par and everything. And they were looking around, and they said, okay, have a safe day. And they never opened the cooler.
Wow.
Never opened the cooler. So it was okay. I figured, you know what? Better safe than sorry. So
you actually gave the mermaids a nice party. They were catching all the beers, and they had a little mermaid party going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was just one thing I was going to point out, which is when I've seen documented similar instance to what you've described,
the sailors experience what is akin to 0G. That is to say, as the boat goes over the waves, it can experience a parabolic arc, the same as the vomit comet. And you can experience the boat coming away from underneath you, and you in midair with respect to the boat that's falling away at the same rate that you're falling, ergo performing a parabolic maneuver, therefore 0G. There's no other way to describe it.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, we were literally, I was literally being lifted off the boat, and Steve kept yelling, "Hold on!" And I'm like, "Dude, no, no, I'm just going to freehand this like a ride, you know."
I'm trying.
Hands in the air like you just don't care. Come on.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we lost bolts. The rail was coming off. I thought the whole hull was just going to split. So for 2 weeks after that, I had my own business and he had his own business. But years ago, we had started out working together. So I was building a deck at the time, and we had 16 footings. We had a hill to go down to get to where we were building. So I had a bobcat with an auger to drill the footings. So I was going up the hill. All of a sudden, I got a flashback, and everything changed to water. And I thought I was in the ocean. Yeah, seriously. And all of a sudden, I'm losing control completely of the bobcat. I had to shovel the auger up too high. It started flipping over backwards. I had to whip it with one wheel, and I got I destroyed the brand new chainsaw we just bought because I landed right on it. And my partner's going, "What the fuck was that?" He said, "Dude, I just had a flashback. You know, I'm still shaking from that shit that happened. And I'm going to have to sit down for a little bit." Seeing Steve a little bit after that, and I was telling him, he showed me his hand, and he was still shaking, just like I was. It took 2 weeks for me to stop shaking from that. 2 weeks.
That's got to be some scary shit, man.
It was scary as I've ever been in my entire life. When I'm looking at the water and we're showing these goofy pictures, you know, of wakes, and I can see the water rising up. Understand what I'm looking at, the pictures. Well, how do you explain that? You know, well, first of all, that's a wake, but if you look back further, you see the horizon still, so it's still another black swan. None of the swans are black, obviously. We're seeing a black swan in reality. That would be the curve, right?
What curve?
Yeah, exactly. Somebody was busting balls the other day about calling it the black swan because they hate QE. The entire 24/7 pretty much hates QE.
Well, the thing is, hold on. It's not that there's a hatred for QE. We just come to a realization that
You didn't say us. You said 24/7.
Oh, I didn't say you, dude.
Yeah, I know he said
24/7.
24/7, but I'm saying over here, what we're saying is the whole time we had a distance that we could have been dealing with.
You understand what he's talking about?
I don't think anybody really realized that. You know, it took a lot of, look, this is flat, this is measured flat. Oh, my God,
Right.
Look, this is measured flat. And then you're getting them all together, and by the time you're looking at it, everything's measured flat. Oh, it's a conclusion that you come to after a lot of research and understanding.
Yeah, like that's the level we're at now. Like, why didn't we just deal with the distance? They were giving us distances to the freaking oil rigs.
That's what I was dealing with. I loved the black swan. I used it constantly.
What is the thing? There it is. It's 9.41 miles to platform habitat and 6.2.
Miles, you say?
Yep, miles, I say, and 6.21 to
linear
hill
miles as well. I'll never forget asking Akuma virus. I know you guys remember Akuma virus. I said, can you explain this? And I showed him a black swan. And he said, without skipping a beat and without any laughter or anything, he said, that's exactly what you would expect to see on a globe. That's what he said. And I thought I was losing my mind. I asked, he had to repeat it because I couldn't even believe what I just heard. Yeah, that's how brain dead these people are.
Come on, do it,
I'll bet you
Nathan.
if I asked him today, he would say the same thing. Refraction. It's exactly what you would expect to see. In the meantime, people don't know what refraction is.
We need one deck
go
here
at
to
it
get
with
us
that,
into
then all of a
distance.
sudden you're a QE tard. You must have learned that from QE. Like these 24/7 retards, can't stand any of them.
Well, he does go after them a little bit, no? And he is a scumbag. He's proven that here. So I couldn't give a shit about him. General Jerkoff, Bucktooth Billy. He's a piece of shit.
This is weird. I heard him say not too long ago that proof is the same thing as evidence. Do you agree with that?
They're synonyms, so yeah, that's correct.
No, you're wrong. All you have to do, and first of all, synonymous does not mean they're exactly the same. So you got to look up that definition. You have to all you got to do is say proof versus evidence, and it will explain to you that proof is a knockdown nail in the coffin, where evidence needs to be built as a case. Now, I could have evidence that Neil's fingerprints are in my apartment and I got robbed, but I know Neil and he's a friend of mine and he's been in my apartment, but I'm going to use these fingerprints to show that I wasn't there at the time and he came in and robbed me. Now, that's evidence, but it's not proof. Now, if I have a picture of him coming in the door, video of him stealing my shit, that's proof. They're different.
You just like the pictures, Hop. I know you.
I like pictures and videos, yes, especially when I take them myself. Don't get me started.
Look at the pictures.
Is the black swan not a picture?
Yeah, it's a video.
Yeah.
The black swan is a picture taken from a video.
Right. But they also got pictures of stuff in space, too.
Yeah, but not really.
Well, they say it's a picture.
Well, can you go verify it, though? You can go verify the swan. You could go verify BLMS B69's work. If you have infrared tools and access to an airplane, you could go verify Jay Tolan's work. And if anybody would have bothered taking film and pictures of that man-made blizzard that went across 29 states, they would have understood what I verified.
Wait a second. Man-made blizzard, how much did it cover?
29 states in January, remember?
And you're telling me that was man-made?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
How?
You know how much weather has been nature in 2026? Practically zero, unless you're living somewhere special. There has been no actual natural weather in this year of 2026, as far as I.
And how do you validate that?
Because I watch the skies and I can feel the temperatures mixing with the clouds that come above me. And when cold air starts mixing in summer days, it's not real. It's made, man-made.
Is that
I don't know,
proof or
Hop.
evidence? Is that proof or evidence?
Well, it's proof to me when I'm standing there getting it, you know. I'm understanding what I'm seeing. I've been doing this since 1999, so a lot of shit I realized happened to me in 1999. Lots of stuff.
Yeah, Matrix came out.
Chemtrails was one of them.
I just don't think you can validate it. I think it's speculation.
Oh, little tiny plastic balls in the snow pretty much validated it. Then when they turned black and there were spots all over the entire place that I live, and as driving around looking at all the snow, it's all the same, very strange. Never anything that I had seen before in my entire life. You know, and people call me senile and delusional and whatever. Okay, I know what the fuck I'm seeing, and I know what's going on right now. I didn't used to understand how much of this pollution and how much of these nuclear power plants, anything that lets off steam. I was just going to say
that's pollution.
Anything that lets off steam or pollution can be pushed around to cause weather.
Yeah, okay. If that's what you're saying, I agree.
Yeah. So that's man-made weather.
Did anyone see that clip of Jeremy Clarkson where he's at some NASA place and it's basically a big steam generator that makes it rain?
Are you talking about like a nuclear power plant? Or are you talking about these rockets that they shoot up?
Talking about an
and
oven.
then they fall in the water? That causes huge amounts of steam. You also have those things laying on the ground all around the place. They're literal propulsion rockets that are on the ground, just blowing out steam. And they use NexRad nowadays anyway. They used to use the different HARP facilities like IceCat and Exmouth and all these different places to manipulate the weather and cause earthquakes.
Maybe.
And tornadoes, hurricanes, you name it. Matter of fact, there's been quite the uptick of tornadoes here in the mountains, which is just not heard of. 2009, one right through where we lived, and we had no idea what was going on. It sounded like a freight train, just like everybody says. It was just, me and my wife are going, what the fuck is happening right now? And then the next day, we're looking down the road, and there's a lineman out there, you know, fixing a line. And we drive down, and there's a line that's just destroyed. And there was a little cat in a cage, alive, right next to the house that didn't get touched. It just went right by the house, across the street, took out the lines, and took a giant tree down. The cat lived. Crazy. Never saw anything like, and that's tornadoes are supposed to be, you know, on flat land.
Definitely.
Also, I believe Tornado Alley has moved. Yeah, because that happens without man manipulating it.
About man manipulating it. I'm sure we do have an influence to a certain degree, but I'm going to round out on that note either way. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member. Hit me up on Patreon, and if you do have the funds, to hit me up via PayPal or the coffee link and buy me a coffee. That'd be very much appreciated. If indeed you don't, share one of my shorts videos. I've been Nathan Oakley. Another massive thank you to Discord and G+, and I will see you all in the next video.
But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps. Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken. We just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.